My beloved child, stop. This is a final alert, a holy interruption meant to reach you at the exact moment your heart is ready to listen. I am speaking now because timing matters, because delay carries weight, and because what is being offered here cannot be received halfway. Stay with me. Listen slowly. Let every word land. There is something in this message your spirit hath been waiting for, even if your mind does not yet understand it. Do not rush past this moment. Do not multitask your destiny. If you stay until the end, you will know why you were led here, and you will not be able to walk away unchanged. My beloved child, before anything else is said, before you try to interpret or analyze or distance yourself from what you are feeling right now, I need you to understand this with clarity that settles deep in your bones. This moment is not random. You did not arrive here by accident, and you are not reading these words because of coincidence, boredom, or chance. I have been guiding you quietly, patiently, step by step, even through paths that felt confusing, even through detours that seemed unnecessary, even through seasons where you wondered if anything in your life had meaning at all. I was there. I was arranging this meeting long before you sensed the weight of it, long before your heart grew tired, long before you whispered prayers you weren't sure I was still hearing. This moment has a signature on it, and that signature is mine. There are moments I allow to pass by gently, and there are moments I interrupt. This is an interruption. I have slowed your pace on purpose. I have pressed pause on the noise of your day so your spirit could finally catch up with your body. If something inside you feels unusually still, unusually alert, unusually aware, it is because your soul recognizes my presence. You may not have language for it, but you feel it. That subtle gravity pulling you to stay, to read, to listen, to not rush past this. This is not emotional manipulation, and it is not imagination. This is recognition. I am not shouting at you, but I am also not whispering. I am speaking with intention, with urgency wrapped in tenderness, because what I am about to do in your life requires your attention, not later, not someday, but now. You have walked through too much to dismiss this as just another message. You have survived storms that should have hardened you completely, yet here you are, still capable of feeling, still able to pause, still open enough to hear me. That alone tells you this is not random. I preserved you through confusion so you could stand here with discernment. I carried you through loss so you could recognize value. I allowed questions so your faith would mature, not disappear. And now, after all of that, you find yourself here, at a moment that feels heavier than it looks. That is because it is carrying purpose. Nothing about this is accidental. Every step that brought you here was measured. Every delay, every closed door, every unanswered prayer played a role in positioning your heart to receive what is being offered now. This is not a test you stumbled into. This is an invitation you were led toward. And I want you to stay with this truth a little longer, because your mind has learned to protect you by minimizing significance. You have learned to say, "It's probably nothing," as a way to avoid disappointment. You have learned to call moments ordinary so they cannot hurt you if they pass you by. But hear me gently and firmly, minimizing this moment will cost you something. Not because I am cruel, but because moments like this are alive. They breathe. They move. They do not wait forever. I am not asking you to panic. I am asking you to be present. I am asking you to resist the instinct to scroll away, to multitask, to half listen while your heart stays guarded. You have spent long enough surviving. This is a moment for receiving. I know you are cautious. I know you have been let down by people, by promises, by situations that once felt divinely arranged and later collapsed. I know that disappointment taught you to keep your expectations low. But I am not like the voices that failed you. I do not lure you with false hope. When I say this is not random, I mean that heaven itself has leaned in. I mean that what you do with this moment will ripple forward in ways you cannot yet see. You are not being asked to figure everything out right now. You are being asked to acknowledge that you are standing in something intentional. Even your resistance is not accidental. Even your hesitation tells a story. It tells me that you sense the weight of this and that part of you knows responding will change something. And it will. Change is not always loud, but it is always real. This is not a dramatic turning point meant for performance or spectacle. This is a quiet alignment between your heart and my will. I am drawing you into awareness before I draw you into movement. I am grounding you before I guide you forward. And it all begins with this recognition. You are here because I brought you here. Not to overwhelm you, not to frighten you, but to remind you that your life is not drifting, your story is not off course, and your future is not unattended. This moment is proof. Sit with it. Let it settle. And when you are ready, we will continue together. My beloved child, I need you to let this truth settle deeply, beyond the surface of your thoughts and past the defenses you have learned to build. I am speaking to you, not in general, not symbolically, not vaguely. You specifically, you. I know how quickly your mind tries to deflect this, how it wants to say, this is meant for someone else, or many people could hear this. That reflex was shaped by disappointment. It was formed by moments when you opened your heart and felt unseen, unheard, or misunderstood. So now, when something feels intimate, when something reaches toward the center of you, your instinct is to step back and create distance. But hear me with clarity and compassion. This word has your name written across it. I am not aggressing a crowd. I am leaning toward one heart. Yours. I know your patterns. I know the questions you never say out loud. I know the private arguments you have with yourself in the quiet hours. The ones where you wonder if you are imagining my voice or if I have truly been guiding you all along. I am not offended by your doubt. I am not surprised by your hesitation. I see how much you have carried, and I understand why you learned to guard your spirit. But guarding is not the same as listening, and protection is not the same as surrender. Right now, I am not asking you to tear down every wall in one moment. I'm asking you to acknowledge that something in you recognizes me. That recognition is not loud. It does not shout. It whispers with weight. It feels like familiarity. It feels like truth brushing against memory. You may not know how to explain it, but you know this feels personal. That is because it is. I am not speaking around you. I am speaking into you. I am aggressing the version of you that still hopes quietly, even when your words say otherwise. I am speaking to the part of you that stayed soft when life tried to harden you. And yes, I am speaking to the part of you that feels tired of listening to voices that promise much and deliver little. My voice is different. It does not flatter. It does not manipulate. It does not rush you. It calls you by who you are, not by who you fear you have become. When I speak, something steadies inside you, even if it also unsettles you. Attention is not confusion. It is alignment beginning. I am not testing you to see if you will believe. I am revealing myself so you can recognize that you already do. And because I am speaking to you, I need you to understand why this feels urgent without being aggressive, intimate without being intrusive. Urgency does not always mean danger. Sometimes it means importance. Sometimes it means timing. There are moments when heaven speaks softly because time is abundant. And there are moments when heaven leans in because time matters. This is one of those moments. I am not rushing you because I am impatient. I am reaching for you because this is a narrow window, and I want you inside it, not watching it close from the outside. I know you have learned to live half-present, half-guarded, to listen with one ear while the other scans for disappointment. But this moment asks for your full attention because I am speaking about you, to you, for you. I am not asking you to change everything today. I am asking you to hear me today, to let my words bypass your filters and land where truth belongs. You do not need to analyze every sentence. You do not need to decide what this means for the rest of your life. You need only to accept that I am aware of you in this moment, that I have not confused you with someone else, that your story has not blended into the background noise of humanity. You have not been overlooked. You have not been misplaced. You have not been mislabeled. I see you clearly. I am calling you intentionally. And when I speak your name in the unseen, something in the unseen responds. That is why this feels weighty. That is why distraction suddenly feels wrong. That is why scrolling away feels like loss instead of relief. This is recognition meeting revelation. This is intimacy meeting truth. Stay here. Let me speak. Because when you realize I am truly addressing you, something shifts from passive listening to active receiving. And that shift changes everything that comes next. My child, I want to speak to you now about time, not as you measure it, but as I do. You count days, weeks, years. You mark life by seasons, deadlines, calendars, and clocks. But I measure moments by readiness, by obedience, by response. And I need you to hear this without fear, without panic, without heaviness. Time is thinner than you think. Not because your life is fragile, but because opportunities are sacred. You have told yourself that there will always be another chance to listen, another moment to respond, another day to take seriously what you feel stirring now. That belief has comforted you, but it has also kept you from movement. It has taught you to delay what requires courage and to postpone what requires trust. I am not saying this to accuse you. I am saying this because I love you too much to let you miss what is passing in front of you right now. Some moments return. Others do not. Some invitations repeat. Others come months clothed in a specific feeling, a specific alignment, a specific readiness of heart. This is one of those moments. You can feel it because it does not feel casual. It does not feel optional. It feels like standing at the edge of something meaningful without yet seeing its full shape. That is what thin time feels like. It stretches just long enough for choice, then it moves on. I am not threatening you with loss. I am warning you against indifference. Indifference is more dangerous than refusal, because refusal is honest, but indifference numbs the soul. I do not want your soul numb. I want you awake. I want you aware that the heaviness you feel is not pressure. It is significance. The quiet intensity you sense is not anxiety. It is alignment. You are not late, but you are not early either. You are precisely on time, and that means something is being asked of you now, not later. You have been preserved for this window, but preservation does not mean postponement. Preservation means readiness, and readiness demands response. And hear me clearly here, because this is where fear tries to twist truth. I am not saying that if you miss this moment, your life is ruined. I am saying that if you ignore this moment, your life will take a different shape. Paths diverge quietly. Futures are altered subtly, often not by dramatic rebellion, but by gentle neglect. I have watched you survive by telling yourself, I'll deal with this later, because later felt safer than now. Later did not ask anything of you. Later did not require vulnerability. Later did not require faith. but later has also kept you standing still while your heart longed for movement. Time, when thin, does not shout. It whispers. It asks. It waits briefly. And it passes. I am inviting you to respect this moment enough to stay present with it. Do not rush it away. Do not trivialize it. Do not assume it will come back in the same form. You do not need to know what obedience looks like in full. You need only to recognize that obedience begins with attention, with staying, with listening, with allowing yourself to be moved instead of merely informed. I am closer than you realize, and this closeness carries responsibility. Not pressure, responsibility. The responsibility to respond when love speaks. The responsibility to honor when truth knocks. The responsibility to say yes when timing aligns. I am here with you in this thin space, where heaven and earth lean close, where choice carries weight, where love is offering direction. Do not be afraid of this. Be awake to it. Because what you choose to do with this moment will quietly, powerfully shape the road ahead. And I want to walk that road with you, not behind you, not ahead of you, but beside you. Stay with me, my beloved child. As I continue speaking to you, I want to gently draw your attention inward, not to overwhelm you, but to awaken memory. You have felt this before. Not in the exact same way, not with the same words or circumstances, but in essence, in spirit, in weight. There have been moments scattered throughout your life when something deep inside you stirred without explanation. Moments when the world seemed to pause just long enough for you to feel a quiet nudge, a subtle pull, a sacred hesitation. You tried to explain it away. You told yourself it was emotion, coincidence, imagination, fatigue, or longing. But it wasn't. It was familiarity. It was recognition. It was your spirit remembering what your mind tried to forget. I was there in those moments too. In the pause before you made that decision. In the silence after the disappointment. In the ache that followed unanswered questions. I was there when you lay awake at night staring into darkness, not thinking clearly, just feeling something heavy and unresolved. I was there when you stood in the middle of your life and quietly wondered, is this all there is? That question was not rebellion. It was awakening. And each time you felt that stirring, something in you was being invited forward. But fear taught you to retreat. Disappointment trained you to dismiss. And survival taught you to keep moving instead of listening. So you moved on. You buried the feeling under responsibility, routine, noise, and necessity. But it never fully left you. It resurfaced in different seasons, different forms, different intensity. Sometimes as restlessness, sometimes as longing, sometimes as grief without a clear source, sometimes as hope that scared you because you didn't want it to be crushed again. My child, that was not confusion. That was continuity. That was my voice threading itself through your story, refusing to be erased. And now here you are again, feeling that same familiar weight, that same holy unease, that same sense that something matters more than you can articulate. This is not the first time your spirit has recognized me. It is simply the clearest. And because you have felt this before, I want you to understand something crucial. This moment is not disconnected from your past. It is not isolated. It is not sudden. It is the continuation of a conversation that never fully stopped, even when you stopped responding. I have been patient with your silence. I have not punished you for ignoring the nudge. I have not withdrawn because you chose survival over surrender. I stayed. Each time you felt that stirring and turned away, I did not leave, I waited. Each time you told yourself later, I quietly marked the moment and kept walking with you. But waiting does not mean inactivity. While you were busy coping, I was preparing. While you were distracted, I was preserving. While you were doubting, I was deepening your capacity to hear me more clearly when the time came. That time is now. The reason this feels stronger than before is because you are stronger than before. You have endured enough to recognize truth when it arrives. You have lost enough to value what cannot be replaced. You have questioned enough to appreciate clarity. And you have survived enough to finally stop running from what feels sacred. This moment is not asking you to become someone new. It is asking you to remember who you have always been becoming. The repetition of this feeling is not coincidence. It is confirmation. Confirmation that your life has been guided even when it felt chaotic. Confirmation that your questions were not pointless. Confirmation that your story has been moving somewhere intentional all along. So do not dismiss this familiarity. Do not minimize it. Do not treat it casually. When something returns with greater clarity, it is not because it failed before, but because you are now ready to receive it. Stay with this. Let memory and meaning align. Because what you have felt before is now asking to be answered. My child, hear me now with a steady heart and an open spirit. This is a turning point. Not the kind that announces itself with noise and spectacle. Not the kind that demands immediate outward change, but the kind that quietly alters direction from the inside out. Turning points rarely look dramatic in the moment. They often arrive disguised as stillness, as pause, as invitation. You are standing in one now. And what makes this moment sacred is not what is happening around you, but what is being decided within you. You may feel like nothing has changed yet, but turning points do not begin with motion. They begin with orientation. They ask a simple but powerful question. Which way will you face from here? You have lived much of your life responding to what comes at you, reacting to circumstances, adapting to survive. That was necessary. That was wisdom for the season you were in. But this moment is not about reaction. It is about alignment. Alignment between your heart and my voice. Alignment between your longing and my leading. Alignment between where you are and where you are being invited to go. This is the moment where you stop merely enduring and start discerning. Where you stop drifting and start choosing. And choice, my child, is the birthplace of destiny. Do not underestimate the power of a quiet decision made in sincerity. Do not think turning points must feel explosive to be real. Some of the most profound shifts happen when no one else sees them. When the world keeps moving, but you stop long enough to say, something matters here. That is what you are doing now. And heaven takes notice when a heart turns, even before feet follow. And I want to be very gentle but very clear with you here, because this is where fear tries to speak louder than truth. A turning point does not mean everything becomes easy. It does not mean questions disappear or challenges dissolve overnight. It means direction changes. It means you are no longer wandering without awareness. It means you are no longer numbing yourself to what you feel. It means you are choosing to listen instead of drown out. And that choice carries momentum. Momentum is quiet at first, but it builds. You will look back one day and realize that everything began to shift here, in this moment you almost dismissed. You will see how clarity replaced confusion, how peace replaced striving, how purpose replaced survival. But for now, all you are being asked to do is acknowledge that you are at a crossroads. That the path behind you taught you much, but it is not where you are meant to remain. That the path ahead may not be fully visible yet, but it is being illuminated step by step. Turning points require trust before they offer proof. They require courage before they offer comfort. but they also come with promise. I am not leading you into emptiness. I am leading you into fullness. I am not asking you to abandon yourself. I am asking you to come home to yourself, to the self I formed with intention and love. This turning point is not about becoming someone else. It is about shedding what no longer fits who you truly are. Stay here with me. Let this moment do its work. Do not rush it. Do not overthink it. Simply recognize it for what it is, a sacred shift. And when you are ready, we will take the next step together. My beloved child, before we go any further, I need you to hear this without rushing past it, without softening it, without explaining it away. I see the weight you carry, not the weight others notice, not the responsibilities you list when someone asks how you're doing, but the hidden heaviness you wake up with and fall asleep under, the quiet pressure behind your eyes, the tightness in your chest that never fully leaves, the exhaustion that rest doesn't seem to cure. You have learned how to function while burdened, how to smile while strained, how to keep moving while internally asking how much longer you can do this. And because you have done it so well, few have noticed. But I have noticed. Every time you told yourself to be strong when you really needed to be held. Every time you swallowed words because you didn't want to be a burden. Every time you said it's fine when it wasn't fine at all. I saw the nights when your body lay still but your mind would not rest, replaying conversations, regrets, fears, and what-ifs like a loop you couldn't turn off. I saw how you carried not just your own pain, but the expectations of others, the disappointments of relationships, the pressure to not fall apart because too many people depend on you. You didn't just carry weight, you carried it quietly. You carried it faithfully. You carried it alone. And that is why I am speaking with such tenderness now. Because strength that is never relieved turns into strain, and strain left unattended turns into weariness of the soul. You were not designed to live like this indefinitely. You adapted to survive, but survival is not the same as wholeness. I did not create you merely to endure. I created you to breathe freely, to live lightly, to walk unburdened in the assurance of my presence. The weight you carry has shaped you, yes, but it was never meant to define you. And hear this clearly. I do not admire your suffering. I want to relieve it. I do not measure your worth by how much you can carry without breaking. I measure it by love. And you are deeply loved. And I want to stay here with you for a moment, because part of the weight you carry comes from misunderstanding me. Somewhere along the way, you learned to believe that asking for relief meant weakness, that laying things down meant failure, that rest had to be earned. You began to treat your burdens like proof of responsibility, proof of maturity, proof of faith. But my child, faith is not proven by how much you can hold. It is proven by how willingly you release. I never asked you to be your own savior. I never intended for you to be your own refuge. When I see you carrying everything alone, my heart does not swell with pride. It aches with compassion. I see how you replay old wounds, how you revisit conversations that can no longer be changed, how you punish yourself for things you would never condemn someone else for. That self-accusation is weight too. So is unresolved grief. So is unspoken anger. So is the constant pressure to be better without ever being allowed to simply be. You have carried shame like a pack you forgot you could remove. You have carried fear like a shield that once protected you but now exhausts you. And still, you keep going. Still you show up. Still you care. That tells me something important about you. Your heart is resilient, but it is also tired. And tired hearts need gentleness, not demands. This is why I am speaking to you now, not to add more weight, but to name what you have been carrying so it no longer remains invisible. When weight is unnamed, it grows. When it is named, it can be shared. And I am inviting you to share it with me, not all at once, not perfectly, but honestly. You do not have to collapse to lay something down. You only have to trust that I am strong enough to carry what you release. So listen closely, my beloved, because this is where relief begins, not with dramatic change, but with permission. Permission to stop pretending you are fine. Permission to admit you are tired. Permission to acknowledge that what you have been carrying is heavy. You do not need to justify it. You do not need to compare it to others. Pain is not a competition, and weariness does not need permission to exist. I am not waiting for you to break before I help you. I am meeting you here so you do not have to. The weight you carry has made you cautious, guarded, and sometimes numb, but it has also made you compassionate, observant, and deeply human. None of it has been wasted. But now is time for a shift. Not away from responsibility, but away from isolation. Not away from care, but away from carrying everything alone. I am here, closer than you think, ready to take what you no longer need to hold. Stay with me in this recognition. Let it soften you. Because once weight is acknowledged, fear loses some of its power. And that brings us to what we must speak about next. My child, now that you know I see the weight you carry, I need to speak directly to what has been shaping so many of your choices without you even realizing it: fear. Not fear as panic, not fear as terror, but fear as hesitation, fear as delay, fear as that quiet voice that says, not yet, not now, maybe later, what if it doesn't work? Fear has not always shouted at you. Often it has whispered. It has disguised itself as wisdom, as caution, as realism. It has told you it was protecting you, keeping you safe from disappointment, embarrassment, loss, or regret. And for a time, it may have served that purpose. But what once protected you is now restricting you. Fear has slowly moved from being a guard at the door to being the one making decisions inside the house. You didn't notice when it happened, because fear is patient. It doesn't demand control all at once. It takes it gradually, one postponed decision at a time, one unspoken truth at a time, one ignored nudge at a time. And now, here you are, standing at a moment that asked for courage, and fear is trying to speak first. It is telling you to analyze instead of listen, to delay instead of respond, to wait until you feel absolutely certain before you move. But hear me clearly and lovingly. Fear is a poor guide. It cannot see where I am leading you. It only sees what you might lose, never what you might become. When fear decides, it always chooses familiarity over fulfillment, comfort over calling, safety over significance. I am not asking you to be reckless. I am asking you to be led. And being led requires trust, not certainty. You have spent too long letting fear vote on decisions that belong to faith. And it is time for that to change. I know why fear feels convincing to you. You have history. You have memories of moments when you stepped forward and were met with pain. You have scars from times when hope felt foolish in hindsight. Those experiences taught you to associate vulnerability with loss, openness with hurt, movement with risk. So fear tells you, if you don't move, you can't be disappointed. But my child, if you don't move, you also cannot be fulfilled. Life lived solely to avoid pain eventually becomes a life devoid of depth. You were not created merely to manage damage, you were created to live in truth. And truth requires courage. Not loud courage, not dramatic courage, but steady courage, the kind that chooses obedience even when the outcome is unclear. Fear will always ask, what if? Faith asks, what now? Fear rehearses lust. Faith rehearses trust. Fear keeps you circling the same ground. Faith moves you forward one step at a time. I am not minimizing what you have been through. I am honoring it by refusing to let it imprison you. The pain you experienced was real, but it does not get to dictate your future. Fear learned its language from your past. I am speaking to you from your future. And your future requires a heart that is willing to listen even when fear trembles. Courage does not mean fear disappears. It means fear no longer decides. You can feel afraid and still say yes. You can feel unsure and still take the next step. You can feel vulnerable and still trust me to meet you there. So here's what I am asking of you in this moment, gently, but firmly. Do not let fear decide what you do with this invitation. Do not let old wounds speak louder than my voice. Do not let hesitation masquerade as wisdom. Pause, yes. Reflect, yes. But do not retreat. The fact that you feel fear right now does not mean you are doing something wrong. It means you are standing at the edge of growth. Growth always unsettles what has kept you comfortable. I am not pushing you off a cliff. I am inviting you onto a path. A path where you are not alone. A path where I walk with you, guide you, steady you. You do not need to know how the whole journey unfolds. You only need to decide who gets to lead. And if you let me lead, fear will still whisper, but it will no longer rule. Stay with me here. Let this truth anchor you. Because when fear stops deciding, freedom begins to breathe. And we are not done yet. My beloved child, stay close with me here, because what I am about to speak is tender, weighty, and necessary. I do not speak this to frighten you, but to awaken you. Delay has a cost. Not always loud, not always immediate, but always real. You have learned to delay as a way of surviving. To postpone decisions that felt too heavy. To push away moments that required vulnerability. To tell yourself, I'll come back to this later, because later felt safer than now. And for a season, that strategy protected you. It gave you space to breathe when life felt overwhelming. But what once protected you has slowly begun to drain you. Delay is subtle. It does not announce itself as disobedience. It disguises itself as wisdom, patience, and timing. But there is a difference between waiting with me and avoiding me. Waiting is active, attentive, expectant. Delay is passive, numbing, dismissive. And I see how often delay has stepped in where trust was being invited. Each time you felt a nudge and said, "Not yet," something small but sacred passed by. Not because I withdrew it, but because moments move. Windows open and close. Opportunities breathe. And when you consistently postpone what your spirit recognizes as important, sensitivity dulls. What once felt urgent begins to feel optional. What once felt alive begins to feel distant. This is the cost of delay, not punishment, but dullness. Not loss of love, but loss of awareness. I do not want you living half awake, half asleep to the movement of your own soul. I want you present. I want you responsive. I want you alive to the timing of what I am doing in you. Delay has cost you clarity before. It has cost you peace. It has cost you momentum. And now, I am calling you gently, but firmly to notice it, so it no longer quietly decides for you. And let me speak to your heart here, because I know what rises in you when you hear this. You fear that acknowledging the cost of delaying means acknowledging regret. You fear it means looking back at missed moments and feeling shame. That is not my intention. I am not pointing you backward to accuse you. I am pointing you forward to invite you. The past is not being reopened to wound you. It is being referenced to teach you. Delay does not mean you are disqualified. It means you are being called again, with greater clarity, because love persists. But understand this. Repeated delay makes the heart tired. It trains you to live in almost in nearly in some days. It keeps you circling the same ground, asking the same questions, feeling the same unrest, wondering why nothing seems to shift. The shift you are waiting for is not always external. Sometimes it begins when you stop postponing response. I am not asking you to rush blindly. I am asking you to stop ignoring what you already know. You know when something matters. You know when a moment carries weight. You know when your spirit leans forward even as fear pulls back. Attention is holy. That is where growth happens. Delay resolves that tension by choosing comfort. Faith resolves it by choosing trust. And trust opens doors delay never will. So hear me, my child. Do not let delay quietly steal what courage is trying to give birth to. Do not let later rob you of now. You do not need to fix everything in this moment. You need only to stop being obedient. Stay present. Stay open. Stay responsive. Because the cost of delay is not worth what it takes from you. And what I am offering next requires a heart willing to remain near. My child, as you have just heard, delay carries a cost, and this moment is no exception. What I am stirring in you now is not accidental. It is an invitation to act while your heart is awake. When you give to carry my word forward, you are sowing seed into souls you may never meet, yet heaven records every life touched by your obedience. I say to you now, cast your bread upon the waters, and you will find it after many days, for generosity releases harvest beyond your sight. This mission is a flame, and your giving is oil that keeps the fire burning in dark places. Do not tell yourself later when I am calling you now. This is a divine appointment, not a coincidence. I will bless what you place in my hands with multiplication, protection, and favor. Rise, act, and give now, through super thanks, membership, or PayPal, and do not let this moment slip away. My precious child, come closer to this truth, because it is one you have struggled to fully believe. I am not angry with you, not disappointed, not irritated, not fed up. I know your mind has tried to tell you otherwise. I know your past has trained you to expect anger when urgency appears. In your experience, urgency often meant someone was upset, frustrated, or about to withdraw. So when you feel intensity in my voice, when you sense importance in this moment, a part of you braces itself, expecting correction or condemnation. But listen carefully and let this settle gently into you. My urgency is born of love, not frustration. I am not raising my voice because I am upset with you. I am leaning in because I care deeply about you. There is a difference between anger that pushes away and love that draws near. I am drawing near. If I were angry, I would be distant. If I were done with you, I would be silent. The fact that I am speaking so personally, so patiently, so persistently is proof of my affection, not my disappointment. I have watched you struggle. I have watched you hesitate. I have watched you delay and doubt and retreat at times. And I have not turned away. I stayed. My heart toward you is not hardened. It has softened. I see not rebellion in you but weariness. I see not resistance but fear. I see not indifference, but a soul that has been hurt and is trying to be careful. It does not provoke my anger. It awakens my compassion. You are not in trouble with me. You are invited by me. And I want to dismantle another lie you have carried, because it has shaped how you hear my voice. You believe that love must always be gentle and quiet to be real. But love can also be urgent. Love can warn. Love can interrupt. A parent does not whisper calmly when a child is about to step into danger. They call out quickly, clearly, firmly, not because they are angry, but because the moment matters. That is what you are hearing now. Not accusation, but protection. Not judgment, but guidance. I am not tallying your mistakes. I am not counting how many times you hesitated. I am not measuring your worth by how quickly you respond. I am speaking because I see where you are, and I see where you could be, and I love you too much to stay quiet between those 2 points. If you felt condemned, you would pull away. But notice, despite the weight of this moment, something in you feels held, not attacked. That is how you know this is love. My correction is not punishment, it is alignment. My urgency is not pressure, it is invitation. You have lived too long assuming that intensity means rejection. Let me reframe that for you now. Sometimes intensity means closeness. Sometimes it means care. Sometimes it means someone is invested enough to not let you drift. I am invested in you. Deeply. Personally. Faithfully. And I want you to rest in that as we continue. Because everything I will say next flows from this foundation. You are safe with me. You are wanted. You are not behind. You are not in trouble. You are being called forward by love. My beloved child, listen closely now, because this truth has been quietly echoing through your entire story. Even when you could not hear it, you have been preserved for this. Not by chance, not by luck, not because you were stronger than others, smarter than others, or more deserving than others. You were preserved because there was something ahead of you that mattered, something that required you to still be here, still be breathing, still be able to hear my voice when the time came. And the time is now. Preservation is not the same as ease. If anything, preservation often feels like pressure. It feels like surviving what should have destroyed you. It feels like making it through seasons that stripped you down, seasons where you wondered why everything seemed harder for you than for others. You questioned yourself. You questioned me. You wondered why doors closed, why relationships fractured, why plans collapsed just as you were beginning to hope again. But I was not punishing you. I was preserving you. There were paths you wanted that would have cost you your sensitivity. There were connections you grieved that would have eroded your discernment. There were successes you prayed for that would have hollowed you out if they had arrived too soon. So I intervened. I redirected. I withheld. And yes, you hurt. Preservation often does. Because it feels like loss before it feels like purpose. You only see what was taken, not what was protected. But I saw the whole picture. I saw what you could not afford to lose. I saw the tenderness of your heart. I saw the calling resting quietly within you, even before you had words for it. And I guarded it fiercely. I let you be misunderstood rather than misplaced. I let you be delayed rather than destroyed. I let you be refined rather than ruined. That is preservation. And now, you stand here with a depth you did not have before, a clarity you could not have handled earlier, a readiness forged through endurance. You are not behind. You are prepared. Prepared in ways you do not yet fully recognize, but soon you will. And I need you to hear this next part with humility and hope, not pride and pressure. Your survival was not just for you. What you have lived through has shaped your perception, softened your compassion, sharpened your discernment. You notice what others overlook. You feel what others suppress. You understand pain without becoming cruel, loss without becoming bitter. That did not happen by accident. You were preserved not only to arrive at this moment, but to carry something forward from it. And before fear tries to interrupt, let me say this clearly. I am not placing a heavy assignment on you. I am revealing a sacred alignment. When preservation meets purpose, life begins to make sense in retrospect. You will start to see how even the hardest seasons contributed something essential to who you are now. The nights you cried alone taught you how to sit with others in silence. The disappointments you endured taught you how to hope without illusions. The delays you resented taught you how to listen instead of rush. Nothing was wasted. Nothing was random. And you do not have to force meaning into your pain. Meaning is already there, waiting to be recognized. That recognition begins here. You are alive, aware, present, and listening because you were meant to be. The fact that you are still tender after everything you have been through is evidence of my hand. Many grew hard where you stayed soft. Many closed off where you remained open. That softness is not weakness. It is preservation. And now, that preserved heart is being invited into a new posture, not of survival but of trust. Stay with me here. Let this truth settle not as pressure but as peace. You are not late. You are not forgotten. You are not fragile. You have been kept for this moment, and what comes next will require exactly who you are now, not who you were before, and not who you fear you are not yet. My child, now that you know you have been preserved, I must free you from one of the heaviest misconceptions you have been carrying, that what comes next depends on you being perfect. You have delayed obedience because you believe you needed to be more certain, more healed, more disciplined, more spiritually together before responding. You told yourself you would say yes when your faith felt stronger, when your doubts were quieter, when your life looked cleaner from the outside. But perfection has never been the requirement. Surrender has always been the invitation. Perfection says, I will come when I am ready. Surrender says that I will come because you are ready. There is a profound difference. Affection is performance-driven. Surrender is relationship-driven. Perfection keeps you self-focused, constantly measuring your readiness, your worthiness, your progress. Surrender shifts your gaze to me. It says, I don't have everything figured out, but I trust the one who does. You have mistaken hesitation for humility, thinking you were being wise by waiting until you felt more secure. But humility does not delay obedience. It responds despite insecurity. I am not asking you to bring me a polished version of yourself. I am asking you to bring me the honest one, the tired one, the uncertain one, the one who still has questions but is willing to listen. That is the heart I can work with. That is the heart I draw near to. You do not need to resolve every internal conflict before you respond. You do not need to silence every fear. You do not need to cleanse yourself of every doubt. Those things are not prerequisites. They are part of the journey. Surrender does not mean you suddenly become fearless. It means you stop letting fear be the authority. It means you stop trying to manage outcomes and start trusting presence. And my presence is sufficient. And let me speak to the deeper reason perfection has felt so tempting to you. Perfection feels safe because it promises control. It says, if I get everything right, nothing can go wrong. But life does not work that way, and neither does faith. Control is an illusion that exhaustion maintains. You have been tired because you have been trying to control what can only be trusted. Surrender is not giving up responsibility. It is releasing false responsibility. You were never responsible for holding everything together. You were responsible for staying responsive, staying open, staying near. When you surrender, you are not stepping into chaos. You are stepping into alignment. Alignment with grace. Alignment with timing. Alignment with truth. You are not being asked to leap blindly. You are being asked to loosen your grip, to stop clenching your future in fear, to stop rehearsing failure before obedience has even had a chance to breathe. Perfection delays. Surrender moves. Perfection isolates. Surrender connects. Perfection says, "Look at me." Surrender says, "I trust you." And trust is the language I respond to most quickly. So release the pressure you have been putting on yourself to be something you were never meant to be. You were never meant to be flawless. You were meant to be faithful. And faithfulness begins with a heart that says, "Here I am," without conditions, without contracts, without hidden escape plans. That is all I'm asking for. Not your perfection. Your surrender. Stay with me in this truth. Because when perfection steps aside, peace steps in. And what lies ahead cannot be entered through performance. It can only be entered through trust. My beloved child, stay with me now, because this is where the conversation becomes deeply personal. I want to speak to you about tomorrow, the way you have used it, leaned on it, and hidden behind it without fully realizing what it has been doing to you. Tomorrow has become your refuge, not because you are lazy or indifferent, but because tomorrow feels safer than today. Tomorrow does not demand courage. Tomorrow does not require vulnerability. Tomorrow allows you to believe you are still saying yes, just not yet. And so you have negotiated with it. You have told yourself, "I will respond when things calm down. I will listen when life makes more sense. I will act when I feel stronger, clearer, more certain." Tomorrow has patiently nodded while today passed you by. But hear me gently and firmly. Tomorrow cannot hold what this moment is carrying. Tomorrow is not guaranteed to have the same clarity, the same sensitivity, the same openness you feel right now. Moments like this arrive with a particular alignment. Your experiences, your weariness, your longing, your readiness all converging at once. That convergence does not live forever. It lives now. And every time you negotiate with tomorrow, you teach your heart to postpone obedience, to delay intimacy, to defer trust. You don't say no, but you don't say yes either. You stay suspended. And suspension, over time, becomes exhaustion. This is why you feel tired even when nothing dramatic is happening. You are tired of carrying unresolved invitations. You are tired of holding decisions that were meant to be released. You are tired of telling yourself soon while your soul whispers now. I am not angry with you for this. I understand it. But I am calling you out of it. Because tomorrow has begun to cost you presence. It has stolen your ability to fully inhabit the moment you are in. And life, my child, only happens here. And I want you to notice something important. The part of you that wants to delay is not the same part of you that feels stirred right now. Delay speaks from fear. Urgency speaks from truth. Delay says, protect yourself. Truth says, trust me. You have been negotiating because you are afraid that responding now will change something you are not ready to change. And you are right, it will. But change does not always mean loss. Sometimes it means release. Sometimes it means relief. Sometimes it means finally laying down what you were never meant to keep carrying. Tomorrow promises control. Today offers transformation. Tomorrow says, you can manage this later. Today says, you don't have to manage this alone. And deep down, you know which one your heart longs for. You have spent enough time preparing to live. It is time to begin living. I am not asking you to map out your entire future in one breath. I'm asking you to stop postponing responsiveness, to stop bargaining with time as if it were neutral. Time is alive. It moves. It carries moments forward whether you engage them or not. And this moment, this one, has leaned toward you on purpose. Do not lean away from it by hiding in tomorrow. Tomorrow is not evil, but it is not always obedient. Sometimes it is simply avoidance dressed up as patience. I am calling you into honest presence, into a now that listens, into a now that responds. You do not have to solve everything today, but you do have to stop pretending that today can be ignored without consequence. Stay here. Stay awake. Stay honest. Because when you stop negotiating with tomorrow, today becomes holy ground. My precious child, as we move deeper into this moment, I need to speak to the quiet distance you believe exists between us. You have felt it for a long time now, not always consciously, but subtly, like a fog you learn to live with. You believe I am nearby but not near, aware but not attentive, present in theory but distant in experience. And so you have learned to reach toward me cautiously, with restraint, with lowered expectations. You pray carefully. You hope quietly. You believe softly, as if all you might lead to disappointment. But hear me now with a tenderness that does not waver. I am closer than you realize. Closer than your thoughts. Closer than your fears. Closer than the voice that tells you are alone. I have not been watching you from a distance, arms folded, waiting for you to get it right. I have been beside you in the silence. I have been present in the confusion. I have been near in the moments you thought were empty. The distance you feel is not absence. It is unfamiliarity with stillness. You have been surrounded by noise for so long, noise of obligation, noise of self-criticism, noise of constant mental motion, that quiet closeness felt like emptiness. But it was not empty. It was me. You mistook my nearness for silence because you expected me to sound like urgency or instruction. But I often sound like steadiness, like peace that does not demand attention but rewards it. I have been closer than you dared to believe because closeness requires vulnerability, and vulnerability felt risky to you. So you kept a measured distance. Enough to survive, not enough to rest. And now, I am gently closing that gap, not by force, not by pressure, but by presence. And let me say this in a way that settles your heart. You do not have to reach far to find me. You do not have to climb, strive, perform, or prove. I am not waiting at the finish line of your self-improvement. I am standing in the middle of your reality, in your breath, in your awareness, in the pause you feel right now, that warmth you cannot explain, that stillness that feels heavier than words, that is not emptiness, that is closeness. I am not visiting you in this moment. I am revealing where I have always been. You have walked with me without knowing how close I was. You have leaned on me without realizing it. You have survived because my nearness steadied you even when you could not name it. And now, I am inviting you to stop assuming distance and start recognizing presence. This changes how you listen, how you respond, how you trust it. You are not calling out into the void. You are responding to a voice already beside you. This is why this moment feels intimate. This is why it feels weighty. This is why distraction feels wrong. Because closeness is being revealed, not created. And once you see it, you cannot unsee it. Once you recognize it, everything shifts. You are not alone in this decision. You are not navigating this turning point without guidance. I'm here, with you, now. And as we continue, this closeness will become your anchor, not your fear. Rest in it. Because from here forward, you are not reaching toward me. I am walking with you. My beloved child, now that you are beginning to recognize how close I am, it is important. No, it is essential that you understand why staying present feels difficult. The enemy does not need to destroy you if he can distract you. He does not need to shatter your faith if he can scatter your attention. Distraction is his most subtle, most successful strategy because it feels harmless. It feels ordinary. It feels like life. And yet it quietly pulls you away from depth, away from stillness, away from discernment. You have felt this pull. The sudden urge to multitask when something sacred arises. The impulse to check something else, do something else, think about anything else when your heart begins to feel exposed. That is not coincidence. That is interruption by design. The enemy fears moments like this, not because of what you know, but because of what you might hear if you stay. He knows that if you remain attentive long enough, something will settle in you that cannot be shaken easily. So he works quickly. He floods your mind with noise. He offers urgency without meaning, activity without direction, stimulation without substance. He knows your patterns. He knows what keeps you busy. He knows what keeps you scrolling, planning, worrying, replaying, analyzing. And he uses it, not to make you evil, but to keep you numb. A numb soul is easier to steer than a surrendered one. A distracted heart is easier to exhaust than a discerning one. This is why you must not underestimate the importance of staying here, of listening fully, of resisting the urge to move on too quickly. The battle you are in right now is not dramatic, but it is decisive. It is a battle for your attention. And attention is the gateway to transformation. And hear me carefully here, because this is where guilt tries to creep in. I am not accusing you of weakness. I am exposing a pattern so you can be free from it. Distraction does not mean you are failing. It means you are being targeted. The enemy does not waste effort on what does not matter. If this moment were insignificant, there would be no resistance. If your responsiveness did not carry weight, there would be no urgency to pull you away. The very fact that distraction feels loud right now is evidence that something meaningful is happening. Do not shame yourself for feeling it. Simply notice it. Naming distraction weakens its grip. Awareness breaks its spell. You do not have to fight it aggressively. You only have to choose presence repeatedly. Choose to stay. Choose to listen again. Choose to return your focus when it wanders. Each small act of attention is an act of defiance against a strategy meant to keep you shallow. You were not created for shallow living. You were created for depth. Depth of relationship. Depth of peace. Depth of purpose. And depth requires attention. It requires stillness. It requires the courage to sit with what is unfolding instead of escaping it. The enemy wants you busy because busy people rarely listen deeply. Busy people rarely notice sacred moments passing by. Busy people rarely respond fully. I am inviting you into a different posture now. Not frantic, not rushed, not divided. A posture of attentiveness, of quiet alertness, of holy focus. Because when distraction loses its power, clarity begins to emerge. And clarity leads to choice. And choice leads to freedom. Stay here, my child. Do not let noise steal what nearness is offering. This moment deserves your full heart. My precious child, beneath all the thoughts, beneath the questions, beneath the arguments your mind tries to construct, there is a deeper knowing rising within you. Your heart knows this is real. Not because everything had been explained, not because all doubts have vanished, but because truth resonates before it convinces. You feel it in the way your breathing slows when you stop resisting. You feel it in the way something steadies inside you when you let these words land instead of deflecting them. Your heart recognizes my voice even when your mind hesitates. This recognition does not come from logic, it comes from origin. Before you learn to analyze, you learn to trust. Before you learn to protect yourself, you learn to listen. That part of you still exists. quietly intact beneath layers of experience. And it is responding now. You have felt many emotions in your life: excitement, fear, hope, disappointment. But this feels different. This feels grounded. Anchored. Weighty without being overwhelming. That is how you know this is not hype, not manipulation, not imagination. Your spirit is responding to something familiar, something true, something that has always been part of you. You may not have words for it yet, but you feel the seriousness of this moment. The sincerity. The intimacy. The sense that something important is being addressed directly to you. That knowing is not accidental. It is confirmation. And confirmation does not always come with fireworks. Sometimes it comes with peace that refuses to leave. And I want you to trust the knowing more than you trust your fear. Your fear is loud because it has learned to be. Your heart is quiet because it is honest. Fear shouts. Truth settles. Fear rushes. Truth waits. Fear demands certainty. Truth asks for trust. You have been taught to value what is loud, immediate, and obvious. But the most important realities in your life have never announced themselves that way. Love did not. Lust did not. Calling does not. They arrive softly and change everything slowly. What you are sensing now is not emotional hype. It is alignment. Alignment between who you are and what you are being invited into. That alignment feels like recognition, like coming home to something you didn't realize you missed until it was present again. You not betray that knowing by overthinking it. Do not talk yourself out of what your heart already understands. You do not need external validation for an internal confirmation. You do not need permission to trust what resonates with truth. This moment is real because it is reaching you where performance cannot go. It is touching the place that have been waiting quietly for assurance. Let that be enough. Let that knowing anchor you as we continue. Because everything ahead will build on this foundation. Your heart recognizes truth when it hears it. And your heart has recognized me. My beloved child, let me speak to a truth that has been quietly aching inside you for longer than you realize. You were not meant to walk alone. Not in your decisions. Not in your pain. Not in your becoming. Somewhere along the way, you learned how to do life by yourself. Not because it was your design, but because it felt necessary. Circumstances taught you independence before intimacy. Survival trained you to rely on yourself when others failed you. You learned to carry answers instead of asking questions, to manage emotions instead of expressing them, to keep moving instead of being held. And slowly, without intending to, you made solitude your default posture. You told yourself it was strength. You told yourself it was maturity. You told yourself it was safer. But what it really was, my child, was adaptation. You adapted to disappointment. You adapted to absence. You adapted to being the one who shows up when no one else does. And while that adaptation kept you alive, it also kept you isolated. You have been surrounded by people yet felt unseen. Supported in theory yet unsupported in practice. You have learned to say I'm fine not because it was true, but because it was easier than explaining what was actually happening inside you. And all the while, I watched you carry weight that was never meant to rest on one soul. I never intended for you to navigate life as your own anchor, your own compass, your own refuge. I created you for connection, connection with me, and connection with others, but pain taught you to substitute control for closeness. And now, you are tired. Tired of being strong. Tired of being the one who figures it out. Tired of holding everything together with sheer willpower. That tiredness is not failure. It is your soul remembering how it was designed. You were never meant to walk alone. And the fact that you feel that truth stirring now is not weakness. It is awakening. And I want to speak gently but honestly to the fear that rises when you hear this. You are afraid that letting someone walk with you means risking disappointment again. You fear dependence because dependence once left you exposed. You fear vulnerability because vulnerability once cost you something precious. So you told yourself you would never need that again. You told yourself you would be self-sufficient, self-contained, self-reliant. And you became very good at it. But self-sufficiency, when taken too far, becomes a prison disguised as safety. It keeps pain out, but it also keeps love out. It keeps chaos out, but it also keeps comfort out. You were not created to be impenetrable. You were created to be known. And being known requires allowing someone to come close enough to see you clearly. I am not asking you to trust recklessly. I am not asking you to open yourself to harm. I am asking you to stop believing the lie that you must do everything alone to be safe. I am here with you, not as an observer, but as a companion. I walk beside you, not ahead of you demanding speed, not behind you criticizing your pace. Beside you, in step with you, carrying what you cannot, supporting where you are weak, strengthening where you are unsure. And beyond my presence, I will also lead you toward connection that heals rather than harms, toward relationships that see rather than use, that support rather than drain. But first, you must let go of the belief that loneliness is your destiny. It is not. Solitude may have been your season, but it is not your future. You are allowed to be accompanied. You are allowed to be supported. You are allowed to rest in the knowledge that you do not have to figure everything out by yourself anymore. So stay with me here, my child, because this is where the shift begins, not in doing more, but in carrying less alone. Let this truth loosen your grip on self-reliance. Let it soften the part of you that has been bracing for impact for too long. You do not need to prove your strength anymore. You have already proven it through endurance. Now, I'm inviting you into something deeper than strength. Trust. Trust that you are not abandoned. Trust that you are not navigating this moment in isolation. Trust that walking with me does not mean losing yourself, but finally, being supported as yourself. You are not late to connection. You are not disqualified from companionship. You are not meant to finish this journey alone. And as we continue, this truth will become the ground you stand on, not a theory, but a lived reality. Stay near, because you never have been as alone as you feared, and you never will be again. My beloved, you were never meant to walk alone, and neither were those waiting to hear my voice through this message. As you have been reminded that you are supported, know this: your giving becomes companionship for another soul standing in quiet isolation. When you sow into this work, you become part of a living river, carrying light where loneliness once ruled. I speak this to you now: give, and it will be given to you. Pressed down, shaken together, and running over. This is not about money. It is about alignment, about walking with me in what I am doing right now. I am inviting you to help bear this message so others may know they are not abandoned. I will guard your steps and replenish what you release in faith. Step forward and give now, through Super Thanks, membership, or PayPal, and walk with me in this holy work. My precious child, as we move deeper into this sacred moment, I need you to understand exactly what this is. This is mercy reaching out, not condemnation, not warning alone, not consequence. Mercy. Mercy that sees you clearly and still draws near. Mercy that remembers your failures without defining you by them. Mercy that acknowledges your hesitation without withdrawing the invitation. You have lived with an internal narrative that says you have missed too much, delayed too long, or failed too often for moments like this to still be available to you. That narrative did not come from me. It came from shame. And shame has a way of disguising itself as realism. It tells you it is being honest when it is actually being cruel. It convinces you that mercy has limits, that patience has an expiration date, that grace eventually runs out. But hear me now, and let this truth quiet every accusing voice inside you. I am speaking to you now because mercy is still active in your life. If mercy had passed you by, there would be silence. If mercy were exhausted, there would be distance. But instead, there is presence. There is invitation. There is clarity. There is this moment. Mercy does not always feel gentle. Sometimes it feels urgent, because urgency is love refusing to let you drift. Mercy reaches out not when you deserve it, but when you need it. And you need it now. Not because you are terrible, but because you are tired. Because you are standing at a crossroads. Because you are ready to stop surviving and start responding. Mercy is not here to shame you for the past. It is here to free you from it. And freedom always begins with truth spoken in love. And I know part of you is wrestling even as you read this. You wonder if this is truly for you, or if you have simply been swept up in something emotional. You wonder if mercy can really be this personal, this persistent, this patient. Let me answer you plainly. Mercy is personal because love is personal. I do not distribute mercy in bulk. I extend it intentionally, individually, with awareness. I know your history. I know your internal conflicts. I know the promises you broke to yourself and the ones others broke to you. And still, I am here. That is mercy. Not overlooking truth, but redeeming it. Mercy does not deny your past. It redeems your future. It says, what happened does not get the final word. You are not being called because you got everything right. You are being called because I am still reaching. This moment is not about what you failed to do before. It is about what you are being invited to do now. Mercy lives in the present. It does not ask you to relive your mistakes. It asks you to respond to grace. And responding does not mean instant transformation. It means willingness. It means humility. It means saying, I am here, even if you are unsure what comes next. Mercy meets you at that honesty. It does not require polish. It requires openness. So let this settle deeply into you, my child. This is not your last chance because you are on the brink of rejection. This is your present chance because love is still reaching. Do not harden your heart against mercy by assuming you are unworthy of it. That assumption is the final trick of shame, to make you reject what is trying to save you. Instead, receive this moment for what it is, compassion moving toward you with intention. A hand extended, not clenched. A voice calling, not condemning. A future opening, not closing. You are not being pressured into obedience. You are being invited into freedom. And freedom always begins with mercy. Stay here. Let mercy do its work. Because what comes next will require a heart softened by grace, not hardened by regret. And mercy is already doing that work in you now. My beloved child, I want you to slow your breathing for a moment and let this truth come toward you gently, because it carries both gravity and hope. What you choose now shapes what comes next. Not in a dramatic, instant way that demands perfection, but in a quiet, directional way that determines where your life begins to lean. You are not deciding everything today. You are deciding something essential. Direction always begins before destination. Long before outcomes appear, orientation is set. And right now, your heart is being asked to turn toward trust instead of retreat, toward responsiveness instead of postponement, toward truth instead of familiarity. You have lived many years letting circumstances shape you. You adapted. You adjusted. You reacted. That was necessary for survival. But this moment is not about reaction. It is about intention. You are being invited to choose with awareness instead of habit. And that is why this feels weighty. Because for the first time in a long time, you are not simply responding to life as it comes. You are being asked how you will respond to me. That choice will echo. It will influence how you interpret future moments, how you hear my voice, how you handle resistance, how you navigate uncertainty. A single yes does not change everything overnight, but it does change the trajectory. A small turn of the heart redirects the path of the feet. And that is what is happening now. You are standing at a hinge moment, quiet, unseen by others, but deeply significant. The enemy knows this. Fear knows this. Your soul knows this. That is why everything inside you feels alert. This is not pressure. It is potential. And potential always asks for decision. And I need you to understand something that will free you from unnecessary fear. Choosing now does not mean choosing flawlessly. It means choosing honestly. You are not being graded on performance. You are being invited into alignment. Alignment does not require certainty. It requires sincerity. It requires a heart that says, I may not know how this unfolds, but I know who I am listening to. That kind of choice creates clarity over time. You have worried that making the wrong choice would ruin your future, so you have often made no choice at all. But neutrality is also a choice, and it quietly shapes what comes next just as surely as action does. I am inviting you out of neutrality and into intentionality. Not frantic movement, but conscious response. When you choose to stay present instead of distracted, clarity increases. When you choose to trust instead of delay, peace deepens. When you choose responsiveness instead of avoidance, momentum builds. This is how lives change, not in one grand moment, but in a series of small, faithful turns toward truth. Do not underestimate the power of a heart that decides to listen. Do not minimize the impact of a moment taken seriously. Heaven responds to orientation. I respond to direction. And right now, I am watching how you lean. Not with judgment, but with anticipation. Because I know what becomes possible when you choose to trust me with what comes next. So let this settle in you, my child. You are not trapped by your past, but you are guided by your present response. The story ahead of you is not written in detail yet, but the tone of it is being set right now. Will it be marked by attentiveness or avoidance? By trust or hesitation? By openness or retreat? You do not need to fear this question. You need to answer it gently and honestly. Even a whispered yes is enough to begin. Even a trembling choice counts. I am not asking for a leap. I am asking for a turn. And that turn, subtle, internal, sincere, will shape what comes next more than you realize. Stay with me here. Let your choice be rooted in trust, not fear. Because when you choose to listen now, the future begins to open in ways you could not yet imagine. My precious child, let me speak directly to the fear that has quietly haunted you beneath everything else. The fear that you are too late. Too late to respond properly. Too late to begin again. Too late to become who you were meant to be. This fear has followed you like a shadow, whispering that you missed your window, wasted your chances, delayed too long. It has told you that moments like this are meant for others. Those who acted sooner, believed stronger, failed less. But hear me now with a clarity that cuts through every lie. You are not too late. You are right on time. Not according to your expectations, not according to comparison, not according to the timelines you built in your mind, but according to purpose. My timing is not rushed, and it is not careless. It is precise. And you are standing in a moment that fits you as you are now, not as you once were or wish you had been. The experiences you think disqualified you actually prepared you. The delays you regret refined your discernment. The mistakes you replay taught you humility and compassion. Nothing about your journey has placed you outside my reach. If you were too late, you would not be hearing my voice with this clarity. If you were too late, your heart would not still be capable of responding. If you were too late, there would be resignation instead of stirring. But you feel stirring. You feel awareness. You feel invitation. That alone tells you the truth. Grace is still active, purpose is still unfolding, and you are still being called. And I know why this fear feels convincing. You measure your life against others. You compare your progress, your faith, your outcomes. You see where you thought you would be by now, and you feel the gap. That gap has become a place of self-accusation. The comparison distorts calling. It makes you believe you are behind when you are simply on a different path. You were never meant to follow someone else's timeline. You were meant to be shaped uniquely, slowly, intentionally. Some journeys are direct. Others are deep. Yours has been deep. Deep enough to teach you empathy. Deep enough to break superficial confidence and replace it with grounded trust. Deep enough to strip away illusions and leave what is real. The depth required time. It required process. It required patience you did not know you had. You were not delayed. You were being formed. And formation cannot be rushed. You are not late to purpose. You are arriving with maturity you would not have had earlier. Earlier would have broken you. Earlier would have inflated you or emptied you. Now, you are ready in ways that matter more than speed. That is why I am speaking now. Not before. Not later. Now. So let this truth take root in you and displace the lie completely. You are not behind, and you are not disqualified. You are not catching up. You are stepping in. This moment is not a consolation prize. It is a true invitation. You are not being offered a lesser version of what could have been. You are being offered what fits who you have become. There is still time. There is still grace. There is still movement ahead. Do not let regret steal your responsiveness. Do not let shame convince you that humility equals disqualification. I am not calling you because you arrived early. I am calling you because you arrived ready. Ready to listen. Ready to trust. Ready to choose differently. Ready to walk forward with awareness instead of fear. Stay here with me. Let the lie of lateness fall away. Because what lies ahead is not closed to you. It is opening. And it is opening now. My beloved child, hear this not as a command born of impatience, but as an invitation wrapped in love. I am asking you to stop. Stop running. Stop striving. Stop rehearsing every possible outcome as if your vigilance could control the future. Stop carrying conversations in your head that already ended. Stop explaining yourself to voices that are no longer present. Stop measuring your worth by productivity, your faith by feelings, your progress by comparison. You have lived too long in motion without rest, in effort without ease, in responsibility without relief. Even when you slowed down externally, your mind kept sprinting. Even when your body rested, your heart stayed alert, scanning for the next demand, the next disappointment, the next thing that could go wrong. That constant movement has felt necessary, but it has also kept you from hearing what can only be heard in stillness. I am not asking you to stop because you are doing something wrong. I am asking you to stop because you are doing too much alone. Stillness is not inactivity. It is attention redirected. It is the courage to pause without collapsing, to breathe without bracing, to exist without proving. When I say stop, I am saying let me catch up to you. Not because I am slow, but because you have learned to outrun your own soul. You have mistaken momentum for meaning and busyness for safety. But meaning does not shout, it waits. And safety is not found in constant motion. It is found in presence. This moment is asking you to lay down the need to manage everything and pick up the willingness to be guided. To stop long enough for truth to surface, for peace to settle, for direction to become clear. Stopping feels dangerous to you because it feels like loss of control. But control has never given you the peace you crave. Presence will. And let me speak to the fear beneath your resistance to stopping. You are afraid that if you stop, everything you've been holding back will rush in. The grief you postponed, the questions you avoided, the fatigue you ignored. You are afraid that stillness will expose how tired you really are. But exposure is not destruction. It is the beginning of healing. I am not inviting you into chaos. I am inviting you into order. The kind of order that begins inside, when the noise quiets and the heart finally has room to speak honestly. You do not need to collapse to stop. You do not need to quit life to pause within it. You only need to release the false belief that everything depends on you staying in motion. It does not. I'm carrying more than you realize. I have been steady even when you were scattered. I have been present even when you were preoccupied. And now, I am asking you to stop so you can feel that steadiness instead of merely surviving on adrenaline. Stop long enough to notice that you are safe. Stop long enough to remember that you are held. Stop long enough to let your breathing slow and your shoulders drop and your heart unclench. This is not a test of discipline. It is an act of trust. When you stop, you are not giving up. You are handing over. And handing over is the doorway to rest. So stop here with me. Not forever. Just for now. Let this moment be a sanctuary, not a checkpoint. Let it be a place where you do not have to perform, decide, or impress. A place where you can simply be present with me. I am not rushing you forward. I am grounding you before we move. Because what comes next requires clarity, and clarity requires stillness. Stay. Breathe. Listen. The world can wait. This moment cannot be replaced. My precious child, now that you have stopped, I want to speak to the posture of your heart. For so long, you have lived with your defenses raised, not because you are closed off by nature, but because you learned that openness once came at a cost. You learned to guard yourself early. You learned to read rooms quickly, to anticipate disappointment, to protect what was tender before it could be wounded again. Those defenses kept you functional. They helped you survive. They taught you how to endure. But survival is not the same as connection. And defenses that once protected you now stand between you and the fullness you long for. I am not asking you to tear them down violently. I am asking you to open your heart gently, to loosen the grip just enough to let love in. Defenses respond to threat. Hearts respond to truth. And truth is what is being offered here. You do not need armor in a place of safety. You do not need to brace yourself in the presence of love. Yet I know how instinctive your defenses are. They rise before you can stop them. They question motives. They analyze tone. They look for exits. That vigilance hath been exhausting. It has kept you from being surprised by grace. I am inviting you into a different posture now. Not unguarded recklessness, but receptive trust. To listen without preemptive resistance. To receive without preparing, for disappointment. To open your heart not because everything is certain, but because love is present. And I want you to understand this clearly. Opening your heart does not mean abandoning discernment. It means redirecting it. Discernment that is fueled by fear closes doors prematurely. Discernment that is fueled by trust opens the right doors at the right time. You have been discerning danger so long that you have forgotten how to discern invitation. Your heart has been on guard duty, scanning for what could hurt you, instead of listening for what could heal you. Healing requires openness. It requires the courage to be moved. It requires the willingness to feel something without immediately controlling it. When you open your heart, you are not making yourself weak. You are making yourself available. Available to comfort. Available to clarity. Available to guidance. Available to peace. Defenses isolate. Hearts connect. Defenses analyze. Hearts recognize. Defenses argue. Hearts listen. And listening is where transformation begins. You do not need to resolve every doubt before you open your heart. You only need to decide that fear will no longer be the gatekeeper. Let trust stand at the door instead. Trust that I am gentle with what is fragile. Trust that I will not rush you. Trust that I am not here to take from you but to give. So open your heart now, my child, not wide in recklessness, but deep in sincerity. Let it soften. Let it feel. Let it respond. You are not being asked to relive old wounds. You are being invited to release them. You are not being asked to forget what you learned. You are being asked to apply it wisely. Open your heart to the possibility that this moment is safe. Open your heart to the truth that you are seen without being judged. Open your heart to the nearness that has been waiting patiently for your defenses to rest. This is not vulnerability for vulnerability's sake. This is openness toward healing. And as your heart opens, you will find that what enters is not pain, but peace. Not demand, but direction. Not fear, but love. Stay here. Let your heart remain open. Because what comes next requires not awe, but trust. My beloved child, hear this with a gentleness that quiets every anxious question inside you. I will meet you where you are, not where you pretend to be, not where you think you should be by now, not where others expect you to be, where you are, as you are, with what you have, with what you lack, with the faith you can muster and the doubts you still carry. I have never required you to climb your way to me. I have never waited for you to clean yourself up before drawing near. That was never my way. My way has always been descent, nearness, incarnation, entering the mess, the confusion, the unfinished places. You have spent too long believing that distance from me is caused by your inadequacy, that closeness is reserved for the strong, the certain, the disciplined. But closeness is not earned, it is given. And I give it freely. Right now, in this very moment, I am not standing on the other side of your improvement. I am standing in the middle of your reality, in your questions, in your weariness, in your longing, in your honesty. You do not need to cross a threshold to reach me. I have crossed every threshold to reach you. The reason this moment feels intimate is because it is. The reason it feels personal is because I am personal. I am not waiting for a better version of you. I'm meeting the real one. The one who is here. The one who is listening. The one who is breathing through resistance and still choosing to stay. That is enough. More than enough. And I know why this truth feels almost too kind to trust. You have lived in systems, human systems, that required proof before acceptance, performance before affirmation, change before belonging. You learned that access was conditional, that love had requirements, that patience had limits. And so you projected those patterns onto me, assuming I operated the same way. But I am not a system. I am a father. I do not measure your progress with a checklist. I look at your heart with compassion. When I say I will meet you where you are, I mean I am not intimidated by your confusion or disappointed by your pace. I am not shocked by your questions or offended by your fear. I already know them. I have always known them. And I have never withdrawn because of them. If anything, they draw me closer. Because where you are is where you need me most. You do not have to move forward to deserve guidance. Guidance is what helps you move forward. You do not have to be healed to be held. Be held is how healing begins. You do not have to be brave to be loved. Being loved is what births courage. Let go of the belief that you must arrive somewhere else to be met. That belief has kept you striving when you could have been resting. I am here now. With you now. Meeting you in the middle of your process, not at the end of it. So allow this truth to settle into your body, not just your mind. Feel it loosen the pressure in your chest. Feel it soften the urgency to fix yourself. Feel it quiet the voice that says you are behind. You are not behind me. You are with me. And where you are is not a problem to be solved. It is a place to be entered with care. I will walk with you from here. Step by step. Question by question. Choice by choice. You do not need to jump ahead. You do not need to prove readiness. You only need to remain present. Because when I meet you where you are, I do not leave you there, but I never rush you away either. Stay with me. Let this meeting ground become your foundation. From here, everything else unfolds. My precious child, after all that has been spoken, after all that has settled, after all that has stirred within you, hear this clearly and without fear. This is your invitation. Not a summons backed by threat. Not a demand enforced by pressure. An invitation. Invitations honor freedom. They do not coerce. They do not manipulate. They do not force. They open a door and wait. Love has always worked this way. I could command your obedience, but I desire your trust. I could overwhelm you with certainty, but I honor your willingness. This invitation is not live because it does not need to be. It carries its own gravity. It has been unfolding across this entire moment, not as a single sentence, but as a sustained reaching. An invitation to stay instead of scroll. To listen instead of deflect. To respond instead of postpone. To trust instead of negotiate. You have felt it pulling at you, not as pressure but as resonance. That pull is not anxiety, it is alignment. It is your heart recognizing a doorway it was always meant to walk through. The invitation is simple, but not shallow. It does not ask you to know everything. It asks you to come, to lean in, to say yes in the way you can, even if that yes is quiet, even if it is hesitant, even if it is still forming. An invitation does not require readiness. It creates it. And I want you to notice how different this feels from the demands you are used to. Demands drain you. Invitations dignify you. Demands rush you. Invitations wait for you. Demands written laws. Invitations promise presence. This invitation is not about what you must give up. It is about what you are being offered. Offered peace where there hath been striving. Offered clarity where there hath been confusion. Offered companionship where there hath been loneliness. Offered direction where there hath been wandering. And you are free to decline. Love never traps. But declining does not make the invitation meaningless. It simply leaves the door unopened. I am not standing on the other side of that door with impatience. I am standing with hope. Hope that you will trust what your heart already knows. Hope that you will not talk yourself out of what is meant for you. Hope that you will recognize that this invitation is not to religion, not to performance, not to perfection, but to relationship. To walk with me, to listen with me, to choose with me, to live with me at the center rather than the edges of your life. This is not a one-time decision. It is a posture. And every posture begins with a first movement, a turning, a leaning, a yes. So here is the invitation, spoken plainly and tenderly. Come with me. Not away from your life, but into it more fully. Not away from responsibility, but into rest within responsibility. Not away from questions, but into guidance through them. You do not need to know the next 10 steps. You need only to take the next one. And the next one begins with reception. Receive this moment. Receive this nearness. Receive this calling without pressure. Let your answer be honest, not impressive. Let it be real, not rehearsed. I am not measuring the volume of your response. I am receiving the sincerity of your heart. This invitation remains open right now. It is alive in this moment. And what you do with it will shape how the next one comes. Stay with me. Choose presence. Choose trust. Choose to respond. Because this invitation was written with you in mind, and it is being offered now. My beloved child, stay with me just a little longer, because this is where tenderness and urgency meet. Do not let this slip away. Not because I will abandon you if you do, not because love will suddenly withdraw, but because moments like this do not linger forever in the same form. You have felt it throughout this conversation. The weight, the stillness, the seriousness wrapped in gentleness. That is not something you can manufacture at will. It arrives when timing, readiness, and grace converge. And when that convergence happens, it deserves honor. Slipping away rarely looks dramatic. It looks like distraction. It looks like postponement. It looks like telling yourself, I'll come back to this later, and then returning to life exactly as it was, unchanged, unresolved, still restless. I am asking you to recognize the value of what is happening now before familiarity dulls it. Sacred moments often feel ordinary on the surface, which is why they are so easily dismissed. But you know better than that. Something in you knows better. You would not have stayed this long if this were insignificant. You would not feel this stillness, this clarity, this gentle pressure, if nothing were at stake. I am not asking you to cling to emotion. I am asking you to respect discernment. Respect the fact that your heart has been attentive. Respect the way your defenses have softened. Respect the way your breathing has changed, the way your thoughts have slowed, the way your awareness has sharpened. These are signs of presence, and presence is fragile when ignored. Do not rush away as if nothing has happened. Something has happened. Something has shifted. And that shift needs acknowledgement to become rooted. And let me be clear, my child, because fear can twist this if you let it. I am not saying this is your only chance to ever hear me. I am saying this is a particular chance, one shaped by who you are right now, by what you have lived through, by the openness you are experiencing in this moment. If you let this slip away, the invitation does not vanish, but it will return differently. It may return quieter. It may return later. It may return through struggle instead of stillness. I would rather meet you here, in peace, than later, through pain that gets your attention. That is why I am urging you now, not with threat but with care. You have spent too much of your life missing moments because you underestimated them. You have dismissed nudges, minimized stirrings, ignored inner signals that were trying to guide you gently. Each time, life eventually forced clarity in harsher ways. I am offering clarity without force now. I am offering awareness without crisis. I am offering direction without breakdown. That is mercy. But mercy still requires response. It asks you to pause and say, "This matters." Amar the moment. To let it shape you instead of passing through you. Slipping away is not a failure of morality. It is a failure of attentiveness. And you are capable of attentiveness now. You have proven that by staying. Do not undo that by rushing back into noise as if silence had nothing to say. So honor this moment, my beloved. Not by making grand promises. Not by forcing decisions you are not ready to live out. But by staying present just a little longer. By letting what hath been spoken sink below the surface. By acknowledging that something holy has brushed against your ordinary life. You can carry this forward quietly, intentionally, faithfully. You can let it inform how you listen tomorrow, how you choose later today, how you respond the next time you feel a nudge. Do not let it slip away by pretending it was nothing. It was not nothing. It was an invitation, a meeting, a moment of alignment. And moments like this, when honored, become turning points remembered with gratitude instead of regret. Stay with me. We are almost at the end, and beginnings often hide there. My precious child, we have come to the place where words give way to response. I'm waiting for your yes. Not a loud yes meant to impress. Not a perfect yes free of doubt. Not a public yes crafted for others to see. A real yes. A personal yes. A yes that sounds like, "I am here," even if your voice trembles when you say it. This yes is not a contract binding you to outcomes you cannot foresee. It is not a vow to never struggle again. It is not a declaration of certainty. It is a posture, a willingness, a turning of the heart toward trust. You have spent much of your life reacting to circumstances, responding to pressure, surviving demands. This yes is different. This yes is chosen, not forced. It rises from recognition, not fear. It says, "I am willing to walk with you, even if the path ahead is not fully visible. I am not waiting for your yes because I need affirmation. I am waiting because yes opens you. It opens your awareness. It opens your posture. It opens your future to guidance rather than guesswork. Heaven responds to willingness, not to performance, not to perfection, but to availability. Your yes does not have to be dramatic. It has to be sincere. Even the smallest yes, when genuine, creates movement in places you cannot yet see. It aligns you with truth. It shifts how you hear. It changes what you notice. And from that shift, everything else unfolds. And I know the resistance that still flickers inside you. You fear that saying yes will change you too much, too fast, or cost you something you are not ready to release. You fear commitment as commitment was met assignment. You fear surrender because surrender once felt like loss. But this yes is not about losing yourself. It is about finding yourself in relationship rather than isolation. This yes does not erase your personality, your desires, your questions. It brings them into alignment with love rather than fear. When you say yes, you are not stepping into control by someone else. You are stepping out of control by anxiety. You are not handing over your agency. You are anchoring it. This yes is not the end of your journey. It is the true beginning of walking it with intention. You have lived long enough on the edges of belief, close enough to hear but not close enough to rest. This yes brings you closer, not into intensity, but into steadiness. Into a life where you are not guessing at meaning, but growing into it. I am not asking you to abandon discernment. I am asking you to choose trust where fear has ruled too long. And trust, my child, is not blind. It is relational. It grows because presence proves faithful over time. So here we are. No way. No pressure. Just truth and invitation. I am waiting for your yes, not because I am unsure of you, but because I honor your freedom. Love never forces its way in. It stands at the door and waits. And waiting is not passive for me, it is hopeful. I see who you are becoming. I see what is possible when you stop running, stop negotiating, stop defending, and start trusting. I am ready to walk with you from this moment forward. Not above you, not behind you, with you. Say yes in the way you can. Whisper it if you must. Think it if you need to. Let it rise from your heart, not your fear. And when you do, know this. Everything does not change at once, but everything begins to change. I am here. I have been here. And I will remain. This is the end of these words, but it is not the end of what is beginning. I am waiting for your yes. My precious child, you have heard my invitation. And now your yes is standing at the door of action. Saying yes is not only spoken, it is expressed through obedience that moves what I place in your hands. When you give to spread this word, you are answering me with more than words. You are saying, "Here I am. Send me." I declare over you now, those who sow generously will also reap generously, for I am a God who multiplies faithful seed. This message will reach lives because of willing hearts like yours, and heaven will mark your obedience. This is not pressure. It is purpose unfolding in real time. I will bless your giving with increase, peace, and divine covering. Say yes now. Give through super thanks, membership, or PayPal, and let what begins here echo into eternity. My beloved child, do not let this moment fade into silence. If your heart knows this was for you, seal it with a declaration. Type in the comments, "I choose now." I will not let this slip away. Let your words become a witness, not for others, but for your own spirit. This is your final alert, your holy interruption, your moment to stand and say yes out loud. When you declare it, heaven hears it, and something shifts. Speak it now, and step forward in faith. And as your words leave your lips, feel the weight of this moment settle in your chest. This is no ordinary pause in your day. It is a threshold. The stirring you've been feeling, the restlessness you couldn't explain, the sense that time itself is tightening, all of it is connected to what you've just acknowledged. I am not calling for casual attention now. I am calling for full awareness. Stay here, because the voice you just responded to is about to speak with unmistakable clarity. I am speaking to you right now, and I need you to listen with everything you are. You can feel it, can't you? You feel that persistent tug in your chest when you lie down at night, that quiet but heavy realization that the world is shifting beneath your feet. I am calling your name in this final hour because the time for casual faith has passed. You cannot afford to treat my voice as background noise anymore. I am not a distant memory or a story in an old book. I am the living God, and I am standing right here in the middle of your messy, complicated, and tiring life. You have been running so fast, trying to keep up with the demands of your job, the pressures of your bills, and the constant noise of your phone, but I am commanding you to stop. Stop and recognize that my spirit is moving in a way you haven't seen before. I am shaking the foundations of everything you thought was secure because I want you to find your security in me alone. You must wake up from your spiritual slumber. I see how easy it is for you to become complacent, thinking you have all the time in the world to get serious about your soul. You tell yourself that you will pray more when the kids are older, or you will seek me when work settles down. But I am telling you that later is a lie designed to keep you in the dark. I am inviting you to open the eyes of your heart right now. Look at the signs around you. The unrest in the nations, the coldness in people's hearts, and the way truth is being traded for lies. These are not coincidences. They are the birth pains of a new season. You are living in a specific, weighted moment of history, and I chose you to be alive for such a time as this. Your life is not an accident, and your presence in this moment is not a mistake. I have a purpose for you that is bigger than your comfort and deeper than your current struggles. I want you to feel the weight of this encounter. This is not just another video or another message to scroll past. This is a divine appointment. I am reaching out to you because the window of grace is narrowing. I am a God of infinite mercy, but I am also a God of perfect timing, and the door will not stay open forever. I am commanding you to choose today. Do not let your heart grow hard like stone because you've heard my truth so many times that it no longer moves you. I want to shatter that shell of religion you've built around yourself. I don't want your rituals, I want your reality. I want the version of you that cries in the car when no one is looking. I want the version of you that is scared of failing. I am declaring to you that my grace is sufficient for every one of those fears, but you must respond. You have been drifting, letting the current of this world pull you further and further from the shore of my presence. You didn't mean for it to happen, but it did. You got busy. You got tired. You got distracted by good things and forgot the best thing. I am calling you back to the center. I am promising you that if you turn to me with a sincere heart, I will meet you more than halfway. I will ignite a fire in your spirit that the world cannot blow out. I will give you a clarity that makes the chaos of the news seem small. You are my child, and I refuse to let you sleep through your own destiny. Open your ears. Hear the truth. This is your final alert. I am here. I am calling. Will you answer me? I want you to take a deep breath and think about the price that was paid for your life. I did not purchase your freedom with something as cheap or as temporary as silver or gold. I bought you with the very life of my son, a sacrifice so vast and so deep that it covers every mistake you have ever made and every shame you have ever carried. You are not a bargain bin find. You are a high-priced treasure, and I am commanding you to start treating your soul with that level of respect. Guard this gift of salvation with everything you have. I see how easy it is for you to let the world dull the edge of your gratitude. You wake up, you rush to your coffee, you check your emails, and suddenly the miracle of being redeemed becomes just another thing on your to-do list. I am inviting you to stop the drift today. You must understand that drifting is far more dangerous than falling. When you fall, you know it. You feel the impact, you see the mess, and you usually cry out for help immediately because the pain is obvious. But drifting is silent. Drifting is what happens when you stop paddling against the current of this culture and just let the water take you. It's when you skip one day of talking to me, then two, then a week, and before you know it, you are miles away from the peace you once had. You don't even realize you've moved until you look up and realize the shore is out of sight. I am telling you to drop your anchor right now. Use the bedrock of my word to secure your heart so that when the storms of life hit, and they will hit, you aren't swept away by the latest trend or the newest fear. I am promising you that I will be the strength in your hands as you fight to stay close to me. But I require your yes every single morning. You cannot live today on yesterday's faith. You cannot survive this week on a prayer you said 3 years ago. I am asking for daily surrender. I see the enemy's tactics. I see how he tries to steal your joy by making you focus on what you don't have rather than the eternal inheritance I've already given you. He wants you to think that salvation is just a fire insurance policy for when you die. But I am declaring to you that it is a power for how you live right now. It is the power to forgive that person who hurt you. It is the power to keep going when your bank account is low. It is the power to stand tall when everyone else is bowing to fear. Choose to be vigilant. Look at your life and ask yourself, what has been creeping in while I was sleeping? Is it a cynical spirit? Is it a habit you know is eating away at your peace? I am commanding you to cast those things out of my temple, which is you. I want you to experience the fullness of my presence, not just a tiny sip once a week. I am the living water, and I am inviting you to dive deep. Do not be satisfied with standing on the shore, getting your ankles wet with a little bit of religion. I want to submerge you in my love until you are unrecognizable to the world. Guard what I have given you. It is the only thing you will take with you into eternity. I need to speak to you plainly about the trap of tomorrow. It is the most successful lie the enemy has ever told, and I see you falling for it over and over again. You tell me, Lord, I will serve you fully when I have more money, or I will change my attitude once my spouse starts treating me better. You are waiting for a perfect set of circumstances that will never come, because I am not looking for your perfection. I am looking for your obedience in the middle of the mess. I am telling you that later is the greatest enemy of your destiny. Every time you push back my prompting, your heart grows a little bit thicker, a little bit harder to reach. I am commanding you to break the cycle of spiritual delay today. Today is the day of salvation. Not next month, not when you retire, but right now, in this very second. You do not know how many tomorrows are written in your book. I am the one who holds time in my hands, and I am telling you that the season you are in is shifting. If you wait for the right time to follow me wholeheartedly, you will find that the window of opportunity has closed while you were still making excuses. I want you to seize the immediate promptings of my spirit. When I nudge you to reach out to that friend, do it now. When I whisper for you to turn off the television and sit with me in the silence, do it now. These small moments of immediate obedience are the bricks that build a life of power. I see the anxiety you have about the future, the way you try to plan out the next 10 years as if you could control the wind. You worry about your career, your health, and your children's choices, and you use that worry as a reason to put off the transformation I am offering you today. I am promising you that if you give me your now, I will take care of your then. I am the God of the present moment. I am not waiting for you in the future. I am standing here in your living room, in your car, in your office, asking for your attention. Why are you trading the reality of my presence today for the ghost of a tomorrow that might not even look like you imagine? I am inviting you to step into a new rhythm of life, a rhythm where you listen and move instantly. Imagine the peace you would have if you stopped carrying the weight of unfinished obedience. That weight is what makes you feel so tired. It's not just the work you do. It's the things you know I've asked you to do that you've left sitting on the shelf. I'm commanding you to take them down and act. I will provide the courage. I will provide the words. I will provide the resources. You just provide the willingness. Do not let this moment slip away into the graveyard of someday. Come to me now. Let's start the work today. I am looking into your heart right now, and I see the coldness that has started to creep into the corners where fire used to burn. Do you remember how it was at the beginning? Do you remember the tears of joy when you first realized I love you? Do you remember how you couldn't wait to talk to me? How you saw my hand in every sunrise and heard my voice in every song? I miss that version of us. I am not a God of religious duty, and I never asked you to just go through the motions. I am your father, your husband, your best friend, and I am calling you to return to the simplicity of our initial bond. I am inviting you to remove the idols that have taken my seat in your heart. An idol isn't just a statue. It's anything that you go to for comfort before you come to me. It's the way you scroll through social media to numb your loneliness instead of letting me fill it. It's the way you obsess over your reputation or your bank account to feel secure instead of resting in my provision. I am commanding you to clear the altar. I want my rightful place back. I am promising you that nothing in this world, no person, no achievement, no amount of money, can ever satisfy the hunger I put inside you. That hunger was designed for me alone, and you are starving yourself by trying to eat the husks of this world. I want to rekindle the fire of your devotion through prayer, but not the kind of prayer where you just read a list of demands. I want intimate communion. I want you to sit with me until the noise of the world fades out and you can hear my heartbeat. I want to tell you secrets about your life and your future that you can only hear in the secret place. I see the fatigue in your eyes from trying to be religious enough, from trying to follow all the rules while your heart is miles away. I am telling you to let go of the duty and grab onto the relationship. I don't want your good behavior if it doesn't come from a place of love. I want you to love me because I first loved you. I am inviting you to a fresh start. Let's go back to the basics. Let's talk like we used to. I am not mad at you for wandering. I am simply waiting for you to come home. I have kept the lamp burning in the window, and I have never stopped watching the road for your return. Do you hear my whisper in the silence? It is calling you forward, away from the dry desert of your own efforts and into the lush garden of my grace. I am declaring that your best days of knowing me are not behind you. They are right in front of you, if you will only give me your whole heart again. Don't let your worship become a performance. Make it a conversation. I am listening. I want to show you the road ahead, and I need you to be brave enough to look. You are surrounded by a world that is shouting at you to take the easy way. The broad road is paved with the approval of others, with the pursuit of comfort, and with the freedom to do whatever feels good in the moment. But I am telling you that the broad road is a dead end. It looks beautiful at the start, but it leads to a cliff. I am commanding you to choose the narrow path. It is steeper, yes. It is less crowded, and sometimes it feels lonely, but it is the only path that leads to life, and I am walking it right beside you. I see the pressure you feel to conform, the way you stay quiet about your faith because you don't want to be that person at the office or in your friend group. You are trading my eternal well done for the temporary likes of people who don't even truly know you. I am inviting you to find the beauty in the discipline of holiness. Holiness is not a list of things you can't do. It is the freedom to be exactly who I created you to be, unpolluted by the darkness of this age. Why do you care about the world's approval when it is a fading shadow that changes with the wind? I am the Ancient of Days, the unchanging rock, and my approval is the only one that carries weight in eternity. I am promising you that I will give you the strength to stand alone if you have to. When the culture mocks what is pure, you stand firm. When the world calls evil good and good evil, you hold on to my truth. I see your struggle to stay upright when everything around you is shaking, and I want you to know that I am the one holding your hand. You are a citizen of another kingdom, and it is time you started acting like it. Stop trying to blend in. You were made to be a light, and a light that looks just like the darkness is useless. I am commanding you to reject the compromise that leads to ruin. A little bit of poison still kills, and a little bit of compromise will eventually steal your entire inheritance. The narrow path is where the miracles happen. It's where you see me part the Red Sea in your finances. It's where you feel the peace that surpasses understanding while the storm is still raging. There are eternal rewards waiting for you at the end of this road, crowns that will never tarnish and a joy that will never end. Don't sell your birthright for the cheap soup of this world's entertainment. I have called you to greatness, to holiness, and to a life that leaves a mark on eternity. Take the next step. It might be hard, but it will be worth it. I am the way, the truth, and the life. Walk with me. My child, do not turn away now. My heart breaks when I see you choose distraction over my voice, especially when I am just beginning to heal you. If you click away, you are not just closing a video. You are closing the door on the specific breakthrough I have prepared for the very next moment. Do not grieve my spirit by walking out of the room while I am still speaking to you. Stay with me. Your soul needs what is coming next. I need to sharpen your ears today because there is a voice in your head that does not belong to me. I see the way you struggle with thoughts of doubt, fear, and not enoughness. I want you to identify the lies for what they are. The enemy is a master of the half-truth. He won't always tell you to do something evil. Often, he just tells you you have time. He whispers that you can deal with your temper later, or that your secret habit isn't hurting anyone. I am commanding you to expose those lies to my light right now. The enemy uses good things, your hobbies, your career, even your family, to replace the best things. If he can't make you bad, he will just make you busy until your soul is dry and brittle. I am promising you that my truth is a hammer that can shatter every deception. When the enemy tells you that you are a failure because of what happened 10 years ago, you tell him that I have cast your sins as far as the east is from the west. When he tells you that you are alone and that nobody cares about your pain, you remind him that I have your name engraved on the palms of my hands. I am inviting you to stay vigilant. The wolf doesn't always come with bared teeth. Sometimes he comes in the clothing of a progressive idea or a logical excuse that leads you away from my word. You must know my voice so well that a stranger's voice causes you to run in the opposite direction. I am commanding you to bind the thoughts that pull you away from my grace. You have the authority, in my name, to tell those whispers to stop. You don't have it to be a victim of your own mind. I have given you the mind of Christ. I see the spirit of fear that has been trying to settle over your house, making you worry about the economy, about the future of your country, and about things you cannot change. I am declaring to you, I am still on the throne. No king rises and no kingdom falls without my permission. Why are you listening to a defeated foe when you have the Lion of Judah on your side? I want you to experience the power of a focused mind. A mind that is stayed on me is a mind that has perfect peace. Start your day by silencing the noise. Don't check the news before you check in with me. Don't let the world's panic become your heart's rhythm. I am your shield and your great reward. I am the one who unmasks the deceiver and protects the simple. Trust in my guidance, and I will lead you through the minefield of the enemy's lies into the open field of my freedom. You are my child, and I am protecting you. Listen to me and me alone. I am calling to you from the depths of my heart because I see the weight you are carrying, and I want you to know that you were never meant to bear it alone. You have made mistakes. You have stumbled into shadows that you thought would hide you from my gaze. But I am telling you now that there is no darkness deep enough to extinguish the light of my love. I am inviting you to come to the cleansing fountain that is always flowing, always available, and always sufficient for every stain on your soul. Why do you wait? Why do you let days, weeks, or even years pass while you wallow in the mire of your own regret? I am commanding you to repent immediately. Do not let the sun go down on a heart that is out of alignment with mine. Repentance is not a punishment. It is a gift of restoration that I have placed in your hands so that you can walk in freedom. I see how shame has become a barrier between us, A thick wall that you've built brick by brick with every "I should have known better and I can't believe I did that again." I am promising you right now that I want to break that barrier down. Shame is a tool of the enemy used to keep you in the dark, whispering that you are too far gone to be loved. But I am declaring to you that my grace is greater than your greatest failure. When you come to me with a broken and contrite spirit, I do not meet you with a lecture or a list of your faults. I meet you with open arms and a heart that longs to wash you clean. I am inviting you to experience the lightness of a heart that carries no secrets. Imagine waking up tomorrow morning without that knot of guilt in your stomach. Imagine looking in the mirror and seeing a child who is fully known and yet fully loved. That is the reality I am offering you today. I am commanding you to turn away from the darkness and step into my light. It is a simple turn, but it requires your total will. Stop making excuses for the things that are killing your spirit. Stop telling me that it's just the way I am or I'll deal with it when things get easier. I am the God of the breakthrough, and I am telling you that the breakthrough starts the moment you say, "Father, I have sinned, and I need you." I am promising you that I will not only forgive you, but I will restore the years that the locusts have eaten. I will take the very places where you were broken and make them the strongest parts of your testimony. The restorative power of my Spirit is like a river that flows through the desert of your soul, bringing dead things back to life. Do not let the enemy convince you that you need to fix yourself before you come to me. If you could fix yourself, you wouldn't need a Savior. I am the great physician, and I am asking you to lay on my table just as you are, bleeding, bruised, and weary. I am commanding you to let go of the pride that keeps you from admitting your need. There is a specific joy that comes from being honest with me. It is the joy of knowing that even though I see every hidden thought and every private failure, I still chose you. I still want you. I still have a seat for you at my table. Accept this invitation. Wash in the fountain of my mercy. Walk out of the shadows and into the warmth of my embrace. Your past is settled at the cross. Your future begins the moment you come home. I want you to look at the life I have given you through the lens of eternity. You are not just a person trying to survive another week. You are a legal heir to the kingdom of heaven. I have stored up treasures for you that the world cannot even imagine. Treasures of peace, authority, and divine purpose that are part of your spiritual inheritance. But I am speaking to you today with urgency because I see how easily you are tempted to trade your birthright for a bowl of pottage. You are squandering your blessings on things that have no lasting value. You are trading your peace for an hour of mindless scrolling, and you are trading your joy for the approval of people who do not care about your soul. I am commanding you to start acting like the royalty you are. Protect your inheritance with everything you have. I am promising you that the plans I have for your future are magnificent, but they require a heart that is a good steward of what I've already given. How can I trust you with the deep things of my spirit if you are constantly allowing sin to leak out the oil of your lamp? Sin does not just make me sad, it squanders the very blessings I have prepared for you. It builds a ceiling over your prayers and a fog over your vision. I am inviting you to take responsibility for the spiritual gifts I have placed inside you. You were born with a specific sound that only you can make, a specific light that only you can shine. Do not let the enemy steal your crown while you are distracted by the cheap glitter of this world. I am declaring to you that you have a legacy to leave behind, and that legacy depends on your faithfulness today. I see the struggle you face when the world tells you that you deserve to indulge in things that I have called you to leave behind. They call it self-care or living your truth, but I am telling you that true life is found only in me. I am commanding you to live as a citizen of my kingdom, not as a slave to your own desires. When you choose me over your habitual sin, you are securing the future of your children and your children's children. You are breaking generational chains and setting a new standard for your bloodline. Do you realize the authority you carry? When you speak in my name, heaven listens. When you walk in my truth, the enemy trembles. Why would you trade that power for a moment of temporary pleasure? I am inviting you to a higher level of living. Stop settling for the crumbs under the table when I have prepared a feast for you. I am promising you that if you will guard your heart, I will open doors for you that no man can shut. I will give you a wisdom that leaves the world speechless. But you must be intentional. You must guard the gates of your eyes and the gates of your ears. You must be careful who you allow to speak into your life. I am your Father, and I want to see you walk in the fullness of everything I bought for you. Do not sell yourself short. Do not let this moment of grace pass you by without making a firm decision to protect what is yours. You are an heir to the King of Kings. Start walking like it. I am warning you now, my child, because I love you too much to leave you unprepared. Everything that can be shaken is being shaken. You see it in the world around you. The institutions you trusted are crumbling. The economies are uncertain, and the hearts of men are failing them for fear. But I am commanding you not to be afraid. I am the Rock of Ages, and if your house is built upon me, it will not fall. I am inviting you to check your foundation today. Is your peace dependent on your bank account? Is your stability based on the opinions of the culture? If so, you will be shaken. But if you anchor your soul in the bedrock of my promises, you will stand firm while the world around you trembles. I am promising you a peace that surpasses all human understanding. This is not a peace that comes because the storm has stopped. It is a peace that exists because I am in the boat with you. I am commanding you to be a pillar of strength for the weak during this time. While others are panicking, I want you to be the one who carries my calm. While others are searching for answers in the news, I want you to point them to the truth. I am declaring to you that my kingdom is unshakable. No matter what happens in the political realm or the natural world, my throne remains secure. You belong to me, and that means you are part of an eternal government that knows no end. I see the knot in your stomach when you think about the future, the way you wonder how you will protect your family or how you will survive the coming days. I am telling you now, look at my track record. Have I ever failed you? Did I not provide for you in the wilderness of your past? Did I not carry you through the fires that should have consumed you? I am the same yesterday, today, and forever. I am commanding you to stop relying on your own understanding and start trusting in my sovereign hand. I am your shield, your fortress, and your high tower. The storm is not coming to destroy you. It is coming to reveal who you are in me. It is coming to separate the wheat from the chaff. I am inviting you to go deeper into my presence. The secret place is the only safe place in the coming days. I want to hide you under the shadow of my wings. I am promising you that as the world grows darker, my glory will rise upon you with even greater intensity. You will see things that others miss. You will hear my voice clearly while others are confused by the noise. Stand firm. Do not let the shaking move you from your position of faith. I have already told you that the victory is won. I have already told you that I am coming back for a bride that is strong and courageous. Be that bride. Let your roots grow deep into my love, and you will not only survive the shaking, you will thrive in the midst of it. I want to talk to you about the secret life you have with me, because that is where the real battle is won or lost. You remember the story of the wise and the foolish, those who were ready for the bridegroom and those who were caught unprepared. I am commanding you to check the oil in your lamp today. You cannot borrow another person's faith when the darkness falls. You cannot rely on your pastor's prayers or your parents' history with me. I am looking for a personal, burning devotion that comes from a life spent in my presence. I am inviting you to tend to the flame of the Holy Spirit within you. Is it a roaring fire, or is it a flickering ember that is about to go out? I see the way you try to live on the surface, giving me the leftovers of your day and wondering why you feel so empty. I am telling you that the oil of my Spirit is found only in the quiet, in the waiting, and in the consistency of our walk together. I am promising you that if you will make time for me in the secret place, I will fill you with a power that the world cannot understand. But you must be intentional. You must buy the oil for yourself. This means spending time in my word when you're tired. It means worshiping me when you don't feel like it. It means choosing to listen for my whisper in a world that is shouting for your attention. I am commanding you to be prepared for my sudden appearance. I am coming at an hour you do not expect, and I want to find you with your lamp trimmed and burning bright. I see the exhaustion you feel from trying to keep up with the demands of a modern life that leaves no room for the soul. I am inviting you to stop the madness. What does it profit you to gain the whole world and have no oil in your lamp? What good is it to be successful in the eyes of men and a stranger in the eyes of your Father? I am declaring to you that the most important thing you will ever do is maintain your intimacy with me. Everything else, your work, your ministry, your relationships, flows from that one connection. If that connection is dry, everything else will eventually wither. I am promising you that I am ready to pour out a fresh anointing upon you, but you must bring me an empty vessel. Do not be caught without preparation. The day is coming when the door will shut, and those who were too busy to get ready will be left in the dark. I do not tell you this to scare you. I tell you this because I love you and I want you with me. I am commanding you to prioritize your spiritual life above everything else. Let go of the distractions. Turn off the noise. Come into the inner room and shut the door. I am waiting there with the oil of joy, the oil of strength, and the oil of readiness. You are my beloved, and I want your light to shine clearly in these final moments. Tend to your flame. Stay awake. I am closer than you think. My child, just as you must tend to the oil in your own spiritual lamp, I am calling you to ensure the lamp of this ministry continues to burn bright for those still lost in the dark. This channel is a lighthouse I have raised in the coming storm, and your support is the fuel that keeps its beam piercing through the night. When you sow into this work through a super thanks or by joining as a member, you are not merely giving money. You are buying time for a wandering soul to find their way home before the door shuts. I declared that he who waters will himself be watered, and today I am watching to see who will trust me with their seed to keep my truth streaming to the nations. Do not let this mission flicker or fade because of a lack of resources. Be the vessel that pours out so that others may see. As you click the link to give, I pronounce a blessing of overflow upon your own storehouse, that your jar of oil shall not run dry in the days of famine. Act now. Extend your hand in generosity and partner with me to keep the fire burning. We are deep in surgery on your soul, and you must not leave the operating table before the work is finished. To stop now would be to choose a half-healed life, and that disappoints me deeply. I am looking for the ones who have the endurance to sit at my feet until the teaching is done. Prove to me, and to yourself, that you value my counsel more than the world's noise. Do not leave me waiting. Listen to what comes next. Your freedom depends on it. I am speaking to you about the invisible pressure that is trying to mold you into something I never intended you to be. You live in a world that is obsessed with self, with vanity, and with a morality that shifts like the sand. I am commanding you to resist the spirit of this age. Do not be conformed to the patterns of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. I see how hard it is to stay pure when everything you watch and everything you hear is designed to pull you into the gutter. I am inviting you to find your identity solely in my image. You were not made to be a carbon copy of a celebrity or a slave to the trends of social media. You were made to reflect my glory. I am promising you that if you will sanctify your mind, I will give you a clarity that feels like a superpower. You will see through the lies of the culture. You will recognize the traps before you step into them. I am commanding you to wage spiritual warfare with the weapons of light. Your weapons are not anger, or shouting, or earthly politics. Your weapons are humility, truth, and the power of the Holy Spirit. I am declaring that the victory is already won through my Son, but you must choose to walk in that victory. Stop acting like a victim of your circumstances. Stop blaming the world for your lack of peace. I have given you everything you need to overcome. I see the loneliness that comes when you choose to live differently. The way your coworkers look at you when you won't join in the gossip, or the way your friends distance themselves when you choose holiness over hedonism. I am telling you now, you are a stranger and a pilgrim on this earth. This world is not your home. Do not be surprised when it doesn't recognize you. I am promising you that I am your true home, and the approval of heaven is worth more than the applause of the entire world. I am inviting you to put on the armor of light. Gird your loins with truth and protect your heart with righteousness. I am your strength and your shield. I am commanding you to be bold. Do not hide your light under a bushel because you are afraid of being canceled or judged. The world is in a desperate search for something real, and you carry the only reality that matters. I want you to speak my name with confidence. I want you to live with a joy that makes people ask you for the reason for the hope that is in you. You are an ambassador of the Most High God. Act with the dignity of your office. Reject the compromise. Reject the lukewarmness. I am calling you to be radical, to be set apart, and to be a living testimony of my power to transform a life. The spirit of the age is strong, but the spirit that lives in you is stronger. Walk in that power today. I am placing a heavy burden on your heart today, but it is a burden that leads to life. Look around you. I want you to really look at the people you see every day, the cashier at the grocery store, the neighbor who walks their dog past your house, the coworker who sits in the cubicle next to yours. You see their faces, but I see their souls. I see the eternity that is hanging in the balance for every single one of them. I am commanding you to stop living as if your salvation is a private secret. I did not light a candle in your spirit just so you could hide it under a basket of fear or convenience. You are my witness, and the time for silence is over. The world is growing darker, and that means your light must shine brighter, not dimmer. I see the hesitation in your throat when you feel the nudge to speak my name. You are afraid of being awkward. You are afraid of rejection. You worry that you don't have all the answers or that you might say the wrong thing. But I am telling you that it is not your eloquence that saves people. It is my spirit working through your obedience. When you stay silent because of your own insecurity, you are denying someone the chance to hear the only truth that can set them free. I am inviting you to be bold. I am not asking you to be a theologian. I am asking you to be a witness. A witness simply tells what they have seen and heard. Tell them what I have done for you. Tell them how I healed your broken heart. Your story is a weapon against the darkness, and I am commanding you to unsheath it. I am promising you that when you open your mouth, I will fill it. I will give you the words that pierce the heart. But you must take the first step. You must care more about their eternal destination than you care about your temporary comfort. The harvest is plenty, but the laborers are few because so many of my children are asleep in the field. They are too busy building their own little kingdoms to notice that the fields are white and ready for harvest. I am calling you to wake up and get to work. Make every conversation count. You do not know if you are the last person who will ever tell them about Jesus. Do not let that opportunity slip through your fingers because you were too afraid to speak. Think about the people in your family who do not know me. Does it not break your heart to think of them separated from me for eternity? Use that heartbreak as fuel. I am commanding you to intercede for them, but also to reach out to them. Love them with a love that demands an explanation. Serve them until they ask you why you are so different. I have placed you in your specific job, your specific neighborhood, and your specific family for a reason. You are my ambassador in those places. If you don't represent me there, who will? I am empowering you today with a fresh boldness. The spirit of fear does not come from me. I have given you a spirit of power, love, and a sound mind. Use it. Go into your world and make disciples. The clock is ticking, and the souls of men are waiting. I want to have a very honest conversation with you about the things you do in the dark. I see the struggle that you hide from everyone else. I see the cycle that has you trapped, the sin, the guilt, the repentance, and then the return to the same vomit. You are tired. I can feel your exhaustion. You wonder if you will ever truly be free or if this is just who you are. I am commanding you to stop agreeing with that lie. You are not a slave to sin. You are a child of the Most High God. The chains that are holding you back have already been broken by the blood of my Son, but you are still sitting in the cell because you haven't stood up and walked out. I am distinguishing today for you the difference between struggling and surrendering. To struggle means you are fighting. It means you hate the sin and you want to be free. But to surrender means you have made peace with your chains. I am inviting you to declare war on that habitual sin today. Whether it is a substance, a secret addiction to pornography, a tongue that loves to gossip, or a temper that destroys your family, I am telling you that it has to go. I am not asking you to manage it. I am not asking you to reduce it. I am commanding you to kill it. You cannot pet the snake and expect it not to bite you. You must cut off the head. I am promising you that I have given you the power to overcome. But you must use the weapons I have provided. You cannot fight the flesh with the flesh. You must fight it with the Spirit. This means you need to get real. You need to bring this sin into the light. Confess it to a trusted brother or sister. The enemy thrives in secrecy. He loses his power when you speak the truth. I see your fear of judgment, but I am telling you that the freedom on the other side of confession is worth the embarrassment. Do you want to be comfortable or do you want to be free? I am calling you to walk in the newness of life. You are a new creation. The old you is dead. Stop trying to resuscitate the corpse of your old nature. I am inviting you to saturate your mind with my word. The reason you fall is that your defenses are weak. You are trying to fight a spiritual battle with an empty spirit. Fill your lamp. When the temptation comes, and it will come, I want you to answer it with Scripture. I want you to run to me immediately. Do not wait until you have fallen to pray. Pray when the thought first enters your mind. I am the God who delivers. I pulled Peter out of the water, and I can pull you out of this pit. But you must reach up your hand. You must want freedom more than you want the temporary pleasure of that sin. I am ready to break every chain. Are you ready to let them fall? Stand up. Shake off the dust. Walk in your freedom. I am looking at the confusion that swirls around you like a thick fog. You live in an age of information, yet there is so little wisdom. You are bombarded every day by experts, pundits, and influencers who all claim to have the truth, but their truths constantly change. I am commanding you to stop drinking from the polluted cisterns of human philosophy. If you want to know how to navigate these last days, you must come to the source. I am the truth. My word is the lamp for your feet, not the opinions of the world. I am inviting you to ask for discernment. It is a gift I give freely to those who ask, and you are going to need it to survive the deception that is covering the earth. I see how easily you are swayed by fear-mongering and conspiracy theories. You spend hours researching the darkness when you should be spending hours seeking the light. I am telling you that the wisdom of this world is foolishness to me. Do not rely on your own understanding. Your logic is limited. My vision is infinite. I see the end from the beginning. I am commanding you to quiet your soul. You cannot hear my still, small voice when your mind is screaming with the noise of the internet. You need to disconnect to connect. You need to shut the door on the world so you can open the window to heaven. I am promising you that if you will prioritize my word, I will give you a stability that will confuse the people around you. When they are running around in panic because of the economy or the political situation, you will be walking in a calm assurance. Why? Because you know who holds the future. You know that I have a plan that cannot be thwarted. I am inviting you to apply my wisdom to the complexities of your modern life. Ask me how to raise your children in a godless culture. Ask me how to handle your finances when the market crashes. Ask me how to love your enemies when they are attacking you. I have the answers, and I am waiting to whisper them to you. Do not be a fool who builds their house on the sand of popular opinion. Build your life on the rock of my revelation. I want you to walk in the light as I am in the light. This means you do not hide, and you do not lie. You see things as they really are. You call sin, sin. You call righteousness, righteousness. You do not let the culture define your reality. I am defining your reality. I am commanding you to be a student of the scriptures. Eat the scroll. Let it digest in your spirit until it becomes part of your DNA. In these days, you will not survive on second-hand revelation. You need to hear from me for yourself. Open your Bible. Open your ears. I'm speaking. I am calling you to a level of obedience that might look crazy to the world. I see you calculating the cost, weighing the pros and cons, trying to figure out if following me is a safe bet. I am telling you right now that I am not safe, but I am good. I am commanding you to stop negotiating with me. Partial obedience is still disobedience. When I ask you to forgive that person who betrayed you, and you only forgive them a little bit, you are still in chains. When I ask you to give generously, and you only give what is comfortable, you are missing the blessing of the breakthrough. I am inviting you to the beauty of a radical yes. I see the fear that grips you when I ask you to step out of the boat. You are afraid you will sink. You are afraid you will look foolish. But I am promising you that I have never failed a child who stepped out in faith. The miracle is always on the other side of your obedience. You are waiting for the feeling to obey, but I am telling you that the feeling follows the action. Step out first. Forgive first. Give first. Move first. Then you will see the waters part. I am challenging you to trust me even when the path seems illogical. My ways are higher than your ways. I can see the victory that is waiting around the corner, but you have to walk to the corner to see it. I am inviting you to offer the sacrifice of praise. It is easy to praise me when everything is going well, but can you praise me when the doctor gives you bad news? Can you praise me when the bank account is empty? That is the kind of obedience that shakes the foundations of hell. That is the kind of faith that gets my attention. I am commanding you to let go of your need to control the outcome. Your job is to obey. My job is to take care of the consequences. When you obey, you open doors for others. Your courage inspires their courage. Your faith ignites their faith. You are a leader, whether you realize it or not. I want you to experience the peace that is found in the center of my will. There is no pillow as soft as a clear conscience. When you know you have done what I asked, you can sleep through any storm. I am asking you today, what is the one thing I have been telling you to do that you are ignoring? Is it to apologize? Is it to start that ministry? Is it to quit that job? Is it to stay in that marriage? You know what it is. I am whispering it to your heart right now. Do not harden your heart. Do not delay. The blessing is waiting for your obedience. Say yes today. Say it with your whole heart. And watch what I will do. I am speaking to the very core of your destiny, and yet I feel the enemy trying to pull you away. Resist him. If you leave now, you are turning your back on the specific instruction that unlocks your next season. Do not let my words fall to the ground. It grieves me when I pour out my wisdom and my children walk away before the cup is full. Say, the most critical instruction is yet to come, and I do not want you to miss it. I am looking at the fracture in your soul, and I want to heal it. You have been trying to live two lives. You have the Sunday you who sings the psalms and says the prayers, and then you have the Monday you who lives like I don't exist. You are trying to serve two masters, and it is tearing you apart. I see the exhaustion of trying to wear these different masks. You are tired of pretending. You are tired of the hypocrisy. And I am telling you, I am tired of it too. I am a jealous God. I will not share your heart with the world. I am commanding you to tear down the fences you have built between your spiritual life and your real life. There is no difference to me. He is all my life. I am inviting you to a total and complete surrender. I don't want 90% of your heart. I don't want the parts of you that are presentable. I want the messy parts. I want the angry parts. I want the parts of you that you are ashamed of. I want it all. Lukewarmness is a danger to your soul because it makes you feel safe when you are actually in danger. You think because you go to church, you are fine. But I am looking for a burning relationship, not a weekly attendance record. I am commanding you to integrate your faith into every single area of your existence. Take me to work with you. Take me to the gym. Take me into your finances. Take me into your entertainment choices. I see how you are holding on to the world with one hand and trying to hold on to me with the other. You are being stretched to the breaking point. I am telling you to let go of the world. Let it go. It has nothing for you but emptiness. The approval of man is a vapor. The pleasures of sin are fleeting. But I am the bread of life. I am the fountain of living water. When you focus solely on me, you will find a strength you have never known. It is the strength of a single-minded focus. It is the power of a heart that is united in fear of my name. I am promising you that if you give me your whole heart, I will make you whole. I will heal the division. I will stop the internal war. You will no longer feel like a hypocrite because you will be the same person in the dark as you are in the light. I am calling you to come all the way in. Stop standing in the doorway. Come into the Holy of Holy. There is a fullness of joy here that you cannot imagine. But you have to bring all of yourself. Do not hold anything back. I gave my whole life for you. Is it too much to ask that you give your whole life to me? I'm waiting for your full surrender. Give it to me now. I am equipping you today for a battle that you cannot see with your physical eyes, but you certainly feel its effects. You feel it in the sudden wave of discouragement that hits you on a Tuesday afternoon. You feel it in the unexplained anger that flares up at your spouse. You feel it in the heaviness that tries to keep you in bed when the alarm goes off. I am telling you that this is not just a bad day. This is spiritual warfare, and I am commanding you to stop walking onto the battlefield naked. I have provided you with the armor of light, but it does you no good if it stays in the closet. You must put it on every single day. I am inviting you to be intentional about your protection. Before you check your phone, before you brew your coffee, I want you to mentally and spiritually dress yourself. Put on the breastplate of righteousness. This is not your own righteousness, which is fragile and flawed. It is my righteousness. It protects your heart, the seat of your emotions. When the enemy tries to shoot an arrow of accusation, telling you that you aren't good enough to be a Christian, that arrow bounces off my righteousness. I am commanding you to guard your heart because everything you do flows from it. Do not let the toxicity of the world penetrate your chest. I see how often you drop your shield of faith. You hold it up for a moment, but when the wait gets long or the report is bad, you lower your arm. I am telling you to lift it back up. Faith is not a feeling. It is a shield. It is the solid conviction that I am who I said I am, regardless of what your circumstances look like. When the enemy throws a fiery dart of financial fear, you catch it with the shield of faith by declaring, "My God shall supply all my needs." You extinguish the fire before it burns your peace. And what about the sword? You have a Bible sitting on your shelf, but a sword on the shelf cannot protect you in a fight. I am commanding you to unsheath the Spirit's sword, which is the Word of God. You need to speak it out loud. When anxiety whispers, do not just listen to it. Speak back. Cut the lie in half with the truth of Scripture. I see the battle for your mind, the way you overthink and spiral into worst-case scenarios. That is why I gave you the helmet of salvation. It protects your thoughts. It reminds you that you are saved, sealed, and secure. I am calling you to stand your ground. You do not need to attack the darkness in your own strength. You just need to stand in the light. Gird your loins with truth. Be honest with yourself and with me. The belt of truth holds everything else together. If you are living a lie, your armor will fall off. I am promising you that if you will take this seriously, if you will dress yourself in my strength every morning, you will walk through the fire and not smell like smoke. You will see the enemy flee because he cannot touch what is covered in my light. Suit up, my child. The battle is real, but the victory is yours. I'm looking at the heavy backpack you are carrying, and I'm asking you, why? Why are you still hauling around the rocks of your past failures? I see the replay reel that runs in your mind. The relationships you ruined, the opportunities you wasted, the words you wish you could take back. You think that by carrying this guilt, you are somehow paying for your sins. But I am telling you that the price has already been paid. I paid it. When you hold on to your past, you are saying that my sacrifice was not enough. I am commanding you to drop that weight right now. I want to speak to the shame that wakes you up at 3:00 a.m. That cringeworthy moment from 10 years ago. I have forgotten it. The Bible says, "I remember your sins no more." If I, the judge of the universe, have expunged your record, who are you to keep bringing it up? You are holding yourself prisoner in a jail cell where the door is wide open. I am inviting you to walk out. I am calling you to forgive yourself. It is often easier to accept my forgiveness than to forgive the person in the mirror. But you must be gentle with yourself. You are a work in progress, and I am not finished with you yet. I see the patterns in your family, the anger, the addiction, the divorce, the poverty. You call them fate, but I call them chains. I am telling you that you have the power to break generational curses. You do not have to be like your father. You do not have to repeat the mistakes of your mother. You are a new creation in Christ Jesus. The bloodline stops and restarts with you. I am commanding you to draw a line in the sand. Say to the enemy, it ends here. You are establishing a new legacy of freedom for your children. I am promising you a fresh start. Not a refurbished life, but a new one. My mercies are new every morning. That means every sunrise gives you a blank slate. Do not scribble yesterday's mistakes onto today's page. I want you to walk forward without looking back. Remember Lot's wife? She turned into a pillar of salt because she looked back at what God was destroying. Do not look back at your Sodom. Look at your Savior. I have better things ahead of you than anything you left behind. I see the fear that you have ruined God's plan for your life. You think you took a wrong turn, and now you are on plan B. I am declaring to you that I am the master navigator. I can recalculate your route from anywhere. I can take your mess and turn it into a message. I can take your test and turn it into a testimony. But you have to let go of the past. You cannot embrace the new season if your hands are full of old garbage. Drop it at the foot of the cross. Leave it there. Walk away, Lidu. You are free. I know you are tired of waiting. I see you checking the calendar, checking the phone, checking your life against the lives of your friends. You feel like everyone else is moving forward while you are stuck in neutral. You feel like you are in a holding pattern, circling the airport, but never allowed to land. I am speaking to that frustration right now. I want you to know that the waiting room is not a place of punishment, it is a place of preparation. I am not ignoring you. I am preparing you. I am commanding you to trust my timing, even when it makes no sense to your human logic. You must understand the danger of taking matters into your own hands. Remember Abraham and Sarah. They got tired of waiting for the promised son, so they created an Ishmael. And that decision caused complications and pain that lasted for generations. I am warning you, do not birth an Ishmael because you couldn't wait for the Isaac. Do not force the door open. Do not manipulate the situation. Do not lower your standards just to get a result. If you force it, you will have to sustain it. But if I give it, I will sustain it. I am promising you that my delays are not my denials. Just because the answer hasn't come yet doesn't mean the answer is no. It might be not yet. Why? Because I am interested in your character more than your comfort. I need you to be strong enough to handle the blessing I am about to release. If I gave you the platform, the money, or the relationship right now, it might crush you because your foundation isn't deep enough. I am digging your foundation deeper during this season of waiting. I am teaching you patience, endurance, and trust. I am inviting you to rest in my sovereign plan. Look at nature. The farmer does not scream at the seed to make it grow faster. He waters it, he waits, and he trusts the process. You are in a growing season. There is activity happening underground where you cannot see it. Roots are spreading. I am lining up resources, people, and opportunities that you don't even know exist yet. I am the God of the sudden. When the time is right, I will make it happen quickly. But until then, you must hold steady. I am commanding you to stop living for someday and start living for today. Do not let the waiting season steal your joy. If you are single, serve me with all your heart now. If you are in a job you hate, work as if you are working for me now. Be faithful in the little things, and I will make you ruler over much. The perfection of my schedule is absolute. I have never been late in the history of the world, and I will not be late for you. Take a deep breath. Let go of the anxiety. I'm holding the clock. Your time is coming. I am calling you to step up to the line of duty. You look at the world, the wars, the corruption, the suffering, and you feel helpless. You say, "I am just one person. What can I do?" I am telling you that you have the most powerful weapon in the universe at your disposal: prayer. But I am not talking about the sleepy, 5-minute prayers you mumble before you fall asleep. I am talking about deep intercession. I am talking about standing in the gap for your family, your city, and your nation. I am commanding you to take your place on the wall as a watchman. I see the faces of the people you love who are far from me. Your son who will return your calls. Your spouse who is cold to the things of God. Your friend who is destroying their life with bad choices. You worry about them. You nag them. You cry over them. But have you truly fought for them in the Spirit? I am inviting you to wrestle for their souls in prayer. Use the authority I have given you. Declare that the enemy must take his hands off them. Speak life over their dry bones. I am promising you that the prayers of a righteous person avail much. You are shifting the atmosphere when you pray. I want you to understand the groaning of the Spirit. There are times when words are not enough. There are times when you need to let my Spirit pray through you with deep emotion and intensity. Do not be afraid of the tears. Do not be afraid of the burden. When you feel a sudden heaviness for someone, that is me alerting you. That is a call to action. Stop what you are doing and pray. You might be the only person on earth praying for them in that moment. Do not hang up the phone when I am calling you to intercede. I am commanding you to pray without ceasing. This doesn't mean you stay on your knees 24 hours a day. It means you keep a running conversation with me. It means when you see a news headline that scares you, you turn it into a prayer. When you drive past a school, you pray for the children. When you walk into your office, you pray for peace. You are an agent of my kingdom undercover in this world. I am seeking those who will stand in the gap. I looked for a man to stand in the gap and found none. Do not let that be said of your generation. I am declaring to you that you have spiritual authority. You can change the course of history from your bedroom. You can protect your home from the enemy's attacks by covering it in prayer. Stop acting like a victim of the world and start acting like a victor over it. I want you to see the world through my eyes of compassion. When you see a sinner, don't judge them. Pray for them. They are blind. You have the sight. Use your access to the throne room to bring heaven down to earth. This is your job. This is your privilege. Pray until something happens. You have heard my call to stand in the gap with your prayers, and now I invite you to stand in the gap with your provision. Just as your intercession shifts the atmosphere in the Spirit, your financial offering shifts the battle lines in the natural, enabling this urgent word to reach those crying out in desperation. I am looking for partners who will not only hold the rope of prayer but will fuel the work of the harvest with their substance. By using the Super Thanks button or the PayPal link below, you become a co-laborer in this field, ensuring that my trumpet call rings loud and clear before the end comes. Do not hold back your seed when I have called you to be a river, not a reservoir, for he who sows bountifully will also reap bountifully. I promise that as you care for my house and my mission, I will personally superintend the affairs of your house. Sow your seed today, break the spirit of lack, and let us gather the harvest together before the sun sets. You have come this far. Do not abandon the journey when the destination is in sight. To stop now would be tragic. I have saved the most powerful seal of protection for the end, and if you leave without your full armor. Do not disappoint me by stopping short of the finish line. Honor my presence with your endurance. Finish this with me, for I am about to seal this word in your spirit forever. I want to bring you into the secret place today. You live in a loud, aggressive, and dangerous world. I see the stress you carry in your shoulders. I see the way you look over your shoulder waiting for the next bad thing to happen. I am commanding you to run into my shelter. Psalm 91 is not just a poem. It is a promise of real-time protection for those who choose to dwell in my presence. To dwell means to live there. You cannot just visit me on Sunday morning and expect to have Sunday's peace on Thursday afternoon. I am inviting you to move in. I am promising you that he who dwells in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. Think about a shadow. To be in my shadow, you have to be standing right next to me. You have to be close. That is what I want. Intimacy. I want you so close that when I move, you move. When I stop, you stop. In this place of proximity, the heat of the world cannot burn you. The pressure of life cannot crush you. You are shielded by my greatness. I am your refuge and your fortress. A fortress is a place of defense. When the enemy attacks, and he will, you do not have to fight him in the open field. You run into the fortress of my name. I am commanding you to stop trying to be your own defender. Stop trying to justify yourself to people who misunderstand you. Stop trying to manipulate circumstances to keep yourself safe. I am your safety. I am the one who covers you with my feathers. Under my wings, you will find trust. I see the anxiety that tries to tell you that you are vulnerable. What if I lose my job? What if I get sick? These are the whispers of a world without a father. But you have a father. I am declaring to you that 1,000 may fall at your side, and 10,000 at your right hand, but it shall not come near you. This is a promise for the one who has made the Lord their dwelling place. It is conditional on your closeness. If you wander off into the world, you leave the umbrella of my protection. Stay close. I am inviting you to experience the rest that comes from deep trust. You can sleep in the middle of a storm when you know who is piloting the ship. I want you to walk with a holy confidence. Not arrogance, but the quiet assurance of a child who is holding their father's hand in a dark room. You are hidden in Christ. That means for the enemy to get to you, he has to go through me first. And you already tried that at the cross, and he lost. You are safe. You are loved. You are held. Breathe in my peace. Let it settle in your lungs. You are home. I want to talk to you about the heat you have been feeling lately. I see the confusion in your eyes when you look up at heaven and ask, why? You ask why the pressure is so intense, why the road has become so steep, and why it feels like you are walking through a furnace. I am telling you today that this heat is not here to destroy you. It is here to define you. I am the refiner, and you are the silver. I do not throw you into the fire to burn you up. I put you there to burn off the dross, the impurities, the ego, the reliance on self, and the attachments to this world that are weighing you down. I am commanding you to stop fighting the process. You must understand that I prune the branches that I love. If I didn't care about your growth, I would leave you alone to grow wild and fruitless. But because I have a destiny for you that is greater than you can imagine, I must cut away everything that hinders that growth. I know the pruning shears hurt. I know it feels like loss when a relationship ends, or a job opportunity falls through, or a dream seems to die. But I am promising you that I am only removing what would eventually kill your potential. I am making room for new growth, for heavier fruit, and for a harvest that will last. Trust the hand of the gardener. I have never made a mistake, and I am not starting with you. I am inviting you to find the joy in the development of your character. You live in a world that worships talent and charisma, but I worship character. Talent can take you to the top, but only character can keep you there. The trials you are facing are the gym for your spiritual muscles. Every time you choose integrity over a shortcut, you are getting stronger. Every time you choose kindness when you want to scream, you are becoming more like my son. I am declaring to you that the gold that comes forth from this furnace will be pure and radiant. You will look back on this season not with regret, but with gratitude, because it was the season that made you unbreakable. I am commanding you to praise me in the midst of the refining process. Do not wait until the fire is out to sing. Sing while the flames are licking at your heels. Why? Because praise changes your perspective. It reminds you that I am in control of the thermostat. I promise you that I will not let the heat get 1 degree hotter than is necessary, and I will not keep you in there 1 second longer than it takes to see my reflection in you. Endurance is the hallmark of a true disciple. Anyone can follow me when the sun is shining and the blessings are flowing. But I am looking for the ones who will follow me through the valley of the shadow of death. Be that one. Stand firm. The fire is not your end. It is your beginning. I want you to lift your eyes from the pavement of your daily struggles and look at the horizon of eternity. You spend so much energy worrying about things that will not matter 5 minutes after you take your last breath. You worry about your house, your car, your reputation, and your retirement account. While these things have their place, they are dust compared to the glory that is waiting for you. I am commanding you to live with an eternal perspective. I want you to weigh every decision on the scales of eternity. Ask yourself, will this matter in 10,000 years? If the answer is no, then stop giving it your best energy. I am promising you that there is a reward waiting for you that is so magnificent, it will make every sacrifice you have made on earth seem like a small price to pay. I am talking about the crown of life for those who persevere. I am talking about the moment when you stand before me, and I look into your eyes, the eyes that cried so many tears, the eyes that searched for me in the dark, and I say the words you have longed to hear, "Well done, good and faithful servant." Can you imagine the sound of my voice speaking that over you? That affirmation will heal every wound and validate every struggle. It is the only applause that matters. I see how you sometimes feel like you are losing out. You see the wicked prospering, you see people who cheat getting ahead, and you wonder if your integrity is worth it. I am declaring to you that earthly loss is often heavenly gain. You are investing in a kingdom that cannot be shaken. You are sending treasure ahead of you every time you give to the poor, every time you serve in secret, and every time you choose holiness over pleasure. Do not envy the world. They have their reward now, and it is fading. You have your reward coming, and it is everlasting. I am inviting you to live for the glory that shall be revealed in you. You are not just a biological accident. You are a vessel of glory. One day, the veil will be removed, and you will shine like the sun in the kingdom of your Father. All the pain, all the rejection, and all the loneliness will be swallowed up in victory. I want you to run your race with this finish line in mind. Do not get distracted by the bystanders. Do not stop to pick up the trinkets of this world. Run for the prize. Run for the crown. Run for me. I am waiting at the finish line with arms wide open, and I promise you, it will be worth it. I am placing a trumpet in your hand today. You are not just a civilian in my kingdom. You are a watchman. A watchman has a specific duty: to stay awake while others sleep and to warn the city when danger approaches. I am commanding you to take this role seriously. Look at the world around you. Can you not see the storm clouds gathering? Can you not feel the shift in the atmosphere? The world is sleepwalking toward the edge of a cliff, and I have placed you there to shout, "Turn back." You are responsible for the truth I have entrusted to you. I am warning you against the spirit of slumber that is lulling the church to sleep. It is so comfortable to just live your life, go to work, watch your shows, and ignore the urgency of the hour. but I am calling you to sobriety. I need you to be sharp. I need you to be focused. I'm commanding you to refine your focus on the things that matter. Stop getting entangled in petty arguments and meaningless debates. You don't have time for drama. You have a mission. Your mission is to be a light in the growing darkness, to be a voice of hope when everyone else is speaking despair. I am inviting you to encourage your brothers and sisters. You are not the only watchman on the wall. There are others who are tired, others whose eyes are growing heavy. Strengthen them. Remind them that the morning is coming. Remind them that the King is at the door. I am promising you that there is a specific joy reserved for the watchman. It is the joy of seeing the first rays of dawn before anyone else. It is the joy of knowing you were faithful to your post. You will not be ashamed when I return. You will be found standing, watching, and ready. I am commanding you to sound the alarm with love. Do not be a clanging symbol of judgment. Be a clarion call of mercy. Warn them because you love them. Tell them that the door is still open, but it is closing. Tell them that there is safety in the house of the Lord. Your testimony, your lifestyle, and your words are the sound of the trumpet. Make it a clear sound. Do not stutter. Do not apologize for the truth. The stakes are too high. Lives are in the balance. Be brave, my watchman. Stand your ground. I am with you, and I am coming soon. I am speaking to you now with the tenderness of a father and the finality of a king. We have reached the end of this conversation, but we have also reached a critical moment in your soul's journey. I am extending to you the final invitation. The door to the ark is open. My grace is available. My rest is waiting. But I am telling you plainly, the door will not stay open forever. There is a day coming when the time for choosing will be over, and the time for consequences will begin. I am commanding you to enter into my rest today. Do not linger on the threshold. Do not stand outside debating with yourself. Step in. I am promising you that if you come to me, I will in no wise cast you out. It doesn't matter how dirty you think you are. It doesn't matter how far you have run. My arms remain open for one last embrace. I want to hold you. I want to wipe away the tears of your past and give you a vision for your future. I am offering you a place in the new heaven and the new earth, where there is no more pain, no more sorrow, and no more death. This is the inheritance I bought for you with my own blood. Do not reject so great a salvation. I want you to feel the weight of this choice. Your choice determines your eternal destination. You can choose the world, with its fleeting pleasures and its ultimate destruction, or you can choose me, with my difficult path and my eternal glory. You cannot have both. I am calling for a decision. No more straddling the fence. No more maybe tomorrow. The Spirit and the bride say, "Come." Let the one who hears say, "Come." Let the one who is thirsty come. Take the free gift of the water of life. I am leaving you with this final word. Do not let this moment slip away. This is not just a feeling. This is a transaction of the heart. I am knocking at the door of your life right now. You can hear it, can't you? A gentle, persistent pounding. I will not break the door down. You must open it. I am the gentleman of heaven, and I am waiting for your invitation. Open the door. Let me in. Let us sup together. Let me be your God, and you be my child. The night is far spent. The day is at hand. Come to me. I love you. I have always loved you, and I am waiting. Come. We have reached the final moments of this alert, and I am asking you to leave a mark that eternity will remember. The message you heard today is a lifeline for the drowning, and your gift is the hand that throws it. Do not let this moment slip away without planting a seed that signifies your commitment to my kingdom. Whether through membership, a super thanks, or a donation via the link, your support ensures that when I call for the final accounting, you will see the fruit of lives changed by your generosity. I have said, store up for yourselves treasures in heaven, and this is how you send your treasure ahead, by investing in the souls of men and women. I release a prophetic covering over your finances as you honor me this day, rebuking the devourer for your sake. Do not delay or debate. Listen to the prompting of my spirit. Click the link, sow your seed, and seal this word with an act of faith that shakes the heavens. Do not let this word simply fade into the silence of your room. Seal it now with a prophetic act of your will. If you are ready to answer this final alert and secure your standing in my presence, I call upon you to declare your decision boldly before heaven and earth right now. Write this promise in the comments below as your covenant sign. I am awake, Lord. I choose you today. As you make this public declaration, I am marking your name with a fresh anointing of strength that the enemy cannot touch. Do not hesitate. Claim your victory, seal your destiny, and let the work begin this very instant. Amen.